Oh my god, you guys. I don't know how he found me on Earth, but Large Bumbo's here and he's fucking pissed, guys. So, just in case he kills me, I love you. And the Star Wars New Canon Book Club Archives Volume 3, 20 hours of our old show reviewing Disney Star Wars is available now for free to everyone, even non-members, at patreon.com/SWOCBC. Just go there, patreon.com/SWOCBC. Oh god, he's coming. Listen to this one Act Pack Archives Volume 3 right now at patreon.com/SWOCBC.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/SWOCBC for ad-free episodes, reading guides, movie and TV episode audio watch-alongs, and more. Today's Old Canon fact of the day comes from Star Wars, the new essential guide to alien species by Anne Margaret Lewis and Helen Kaya, first published in 2006. Some humans are notable for their unique cultures. One of the most famous is that of Corellian, whose people inhabit the Corellian star system. 25 millennia before the Battle of Yavin, the mysterious species known as the Rakata introduced Corellians to hyperdrive technology, and they quickly created their own more efficient and effective version of it. Today's selection is Star Wars, the original Marvel Years, Volume 6, a comic book collection by Marvel Comics, whose final issue was first published on May 19th, 2019. Enjoy the show, and may the Force be with you, always.
Was that a door?
What was it?
That was like a big door opening.
Like before in Thriller?
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. You know what that means? That means the Chuba Boys are here. The Chuba Boys are on the scene.
Chuba Boys, getting jizzy with it, flinging the jizz everywhere. That's what Tickle the Ivories is flinging the jizz.
Famous type of music is named after human semen.
Who wants to go in on and build out the jizz universe with me?
I don't want to
with
do
cool, cool terminology. Let's just own it.
I would do that laying on the ground while
I didn't
I'm
start the fire,
baked
dude.
out of my mind.
Whoever said
for the
jizz whaler did.
That's George.
I forgot they were called Jizz
That's
Whalers.
George. The Jizz Whalers.
Oh,
Whoever.
George.
Maybe he just forgot. Maybe it was.
Maybe he forgot.
Maybe he just didn't know that one.
Do you think?
Also, when did the term? I don't want to Google this.
Jism.
When did jizz become a thing?
I think all of this genuinely was. This is stuff that wasn't necessarily meant for public consumption.
Yeah.
And so probably on set they were like, "Oh yeah, that guy's name's Fingerin' Dan and the Jizz Whalers," and they thought it was really funny.
But also, I get it. You're fingering. That's how you. What's what you call guitaring and doing other
completely
stuff.
understand, but I
there's
feel
just
like
later stuff that you call
I feel
that.
like it's guys on set goofing.
Yeah,
and then later on they're like, "Well, what did you call them?" They're like, "Oh, we called it Jizz," and everyone's like, "Oh."
This is the guy who, after he made millions of dollars, still named a character Savage Opress. Just saying.
I don't know that he did. Did George name him Savage Opress?
I'm pretty sure he did.
It feels like a Filoni.
Wasn't he also the guy who was going to name Darth Maul Darth Icky originally?
Shut the fuck up. No.
Does 19th century means 1800s, right?
Yes.
I mean,
It had
this
been
slang
around a
term's
while.
been around for 100 years or more.
Yes.
So
Again,
he just
Maybe not in NorCal.
just took a bet.
I don't think it was a canonical
Honestly,
thing
as,
until people asked him.
Yeah. It might
could
be in the book, though.
I could believe him.
It might be Alan Dean Foster's fault.
No way Alan Dean Foster was like, "I'm going to write about the Jizz Whalers." Dude, no way. Someone would have, a copyright editor would have seen that and been like, nah, you can't do this.
I don't know.
I have to believe all the weird crap from Star Wars is because a bunch of dudes on set, the costume designers or whatever,
I'm right there
were
with you.
goofing and making goofs. Oh, that guy's head kind of looks like a sperm because there's a jizz. They would do a thing.
Yes.
And then people were like, "So who is that?" And they'd have to come up with a name on. They'd say the name that they gave it on set.
It's like lomography. It's like Glupshido. It's there's something exquisite about Glupshido.
Yes.
There's something that I don't want to change about Ben Quadraneros. You know what I mean?
Right,
There's
yes.
something about that is so right for Star Wars now. And you have to walk the line of trash and cool now.
The line of trash and cool.
There is also, I don't know if it's convergent evolution. There's another etymology for jizz in the birding community that is separate.
The birding?
The birding community. The term...
Like bird watching?
Irish birders came up with the term like jizz.
What do they do to the birds?
It's a like the characteristic impression or appearance of a species.
The jizz of a bird.
And it's like their general vibe.
What's its jizz?
Like, yeah, the jizz of a bird that is separate historically from the other one.
I don't want to sound like I keep coming back to this, but what is a birding club? What do they do with
They
really?
like birds. They really like birds.
They're just bird fans.
Do you think?
What do you mean? We're Star Wars.
What's the verb?
fans.
What's the verb?
Yeah.
Birders. Birding, and they're doing what with the bird?
They like study birds. They go look at them. They like write
okay,
stuff
but they're
down
not.
about them.
But they're not ornithologists.
I think it's they're amateurs.
Okay.
You know how like
There could be.
you know how like
amongst them.
like they talked about. Did you read when you read all your Lovecraft stuff? Did you get the one that the guy collected and like wrote backgrounds on him about?
Yeah, that dude,
Where
that
he
one
talks about
scholar.
like the term amateur back then meant a different like it was almost more being an amateur meant you were more legit because you did it out of love, not out of financial like you did it for the love of the game.
Yeah, it meant you're like a
so
wizard.
I think
basically,
like birders, like an ornithologist is like, that's my job and that's the whatever. And this is like, I just love birds. I like to go out and watch them and I'm making my own things about birds.
I
My
get
own
it.
terms.
I get it. Okay.
Do you
Irish,
think we
so
could?
like-
do you think
like
we
a
could?
What's the jizz of it?
Got a hot jizz
What's
that
the
bird.
jizz of that bird?
Do you think we could influence popular culture currently? Because the kids love to say Riz,
Yeah.
but
That kid's got the
general
jizz.
charisma,
Yeah.
jizz.
Yeah. General charisma.
Guy's got the jizz.
I love the riz of that boy.
Yeah, like the
Got
jizz
that
of
jizz riz,
boy.
that jizzy
yeah,
riz.
I have the general Riz or jizz as they call
Oh,
it.
his jizz rating is off the charts.
You know the kids would love it
Like Tom Hanks has jizz.
for sure.
He's
His
like
jizz
a
is
little
monumental.
milquetoast for some people. He's not hard edged, but he's like generally
Massive
We
jizz.
all are like Tom
Massive
Hanks.
jizz.
He's got the jizz.
Yes,
Massive jizz.
yes. Tom Hanks poster boy for jizz.
Yeah. Just exploding with jizz.
Anyway, here we are.
Big.
Volume 6 of Marvel, the original Marvel years of Star Wars. The end of the original Marvel years of Star Wars.
Dude.
Part 2. An interesting end because obviously the end was known ahead of time, but I don't think it was known so far ahead of time that they like chose
Oh,
to
you're a
like,
believer in determinism?
well, I just mean we were reading
Calvinism, if
through we
you
were
will.
reading through I think it was Joe Duffy's piece at the end of this who wrote like the last 35 issues of Star Wars is Mary Joe Duffy. And she's saying something like it sold well all the way to the end. So in my mind, it wasn't like
Didn't you say like it sold out? Like
Yeah.
like they sold everything they printed was sold.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like you know, that probably speaks to something a little bit more like administrative or contract based with the Marvel Star Wars. Like, why did Marvel Star Wars lose the license? Probably because Star Wars had a different plan for it and wanted to like diversify, but I kind of want to find out the real reason.
It there were some moments where I was like, wow, they rushed into this ending.
Dude, I guess like broad strokes wise, just reading I after there's no way that it could match the top of like Duel with the Dark Lady and that stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty disappointed with the ending, but where I've like lifted myself back, like I just stopped taking notes at a certain point. I was just like, dude, what are they called? The pirate guys.
The
that in
dudes
their-
that look like
The Toffs?
the Toffs, who in their first appearance look like a different race.
They look awesome, by the way. In the first image of them looks so cool, and then they show up and they literally look like the Hulk's kids in cosplay.
They're
They
just
kind of
like,
still look cool,
They're
though.
like pirates. They're like Hulkling pirates.
They're like
Yeah.
Dark Souls boss.
that
fights.
first
really
image, I'm with
stupid.
you. I wrote a note that was like, these guys are who I see myself as
They
in the
were
mirror.
like, I feel like they were like a combo of all of our Cold War enemies in one. Like, look at that shot again.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, are they Soviet? Are they a little bit more middle in the
They
east?
were
Where, like,
very
they had different
not piratey.
facial
Almost
hair.
like Viking-esque.
They
yeah.
had like hair texture and head
think
coverings
they
that
just-
were of a different thing, but they were like also redheaded. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy.
I think they still had the idea from the beginning to make them pirates, but it felt like I don't
then
like
they became
like,
actual
did you see the-
pirates,
did you
and
see
it was
the-
so
did you
stupid.
see
Yes,
the
they went
ships?
from having like cool outfits to then they show up in like musketeer cosplay.
yeah, the ships
and they speak with pirate things. But hold on,
The
before we get to the
ships-
tops, that was like just part of like
That's like the very last thing.
The-
Yeah, we'll get there.
what I was saying was like, so like that kind of like turned me off to it, but because I got the like omnibus version that contextualizes it again, one, seeing that like the last issue of this, which wasn't part of the original one, which was like a throwback run.
Yeah.
Kind of like got me back in the idea of like, okay, like this is like a fun little throwback to this era. And then they had so many great interviews at the end of the omnibus with Joe Duffy, with Cynthia Martin, the artist that we love, like all this other stuff. And then even all the people that worked on it at different points giving their feedback. And it kind of, I was like, okay, yes. Did it not live up to the current things? Yes. But we're being archaeologists of pop culture. Like for its time, it was like rad. Like it was kind of cool. And I learned a lot of very interesting things that I was surprised about. Like who was responsible for making the Zeltrons. I thought, dude, this is a male gazy race if I ever saw it. And it was like, nope, Joe Duffy, that was like her baby.
Yeah.
So like make them.
I didn't think about this until I read that interview. But a lot of the stuff that we're saying, right? Like she does even outline literally that they just basically had to like create a side version of the continuity that doesn't exist, aka the fucking protoverse, to like not touch the movie continuity, because they'd say, oh well, we'd like pitch shit and they'd be like no, and then they'd be like, oh well, that's what they're gonna do in the next movie.
That was a fun line where it's like well, we pitched stuff and they were like nope. It was like okay, yeah, then they're gonna do it in the movie.
And according to a couple sources that I just read online, like the sales were slowing. I mean, they still were selling multiples of how much Batman sells today. Like compared to what comic books do today, they were doing gangbusters. But the sales were slowing. They started to see it, and then they were starting to get sort of overwhelmed by the limitations that were being put on them by editorial. And so they just a lot of factors at once. The fact that they saw maybe that interest was going to be declining now that there was no more movies on the horizon. A couple things like that. They decided to wrap it up as close to issue 100 as they could.
Like
It did feel like the ending. I thought that the last actual issue of the Marvel run was the throwback one because it jumped to the end of a conflict.
Yeah.
And the art style, like Luke being blonde Rambo, was so different that I was
weird.
like, oh, they must have gotten cut off in the middle of the arc they were building.
They definitely did.
Okay, so they
And
were just
just
like, you have to end. That might make some sense, maybe because we'll see what's coming out. Like, they're taking the reins back in, and like, Star Wars is
Okay. Well, yeah, but that's what I was going to say.
become something new.
That's what I was going to say is Joe Duffy. Sorry, I forgot to like finish my point. The thing that I was going to say is we've been criticizing this whole time for being like weird and not being really Star Wars or what Star Wars would do, and like not quite nailing exactly the types of things that eventually would become the hallmarks of like the later expanded universe that we know and love from our own childhoods. But like, actually, what this was like the also rans. Like none of the ideas that they wanted to do, they got to do. It was like like what we're seeing is like them dodging the good stories that they wanted to tell and kind of telling other weird stories that were probably being made because they didn't quite feel the same as Star Wars, which I just never thought about before. I just never considered the idea that the thing that defines this era is the fact that it can't,
the limitations
it can't
of it
be Star Wars. Exactly.
Like, they were even talking about like they couldn't have Han and Leia get like married, and what we'll talk about more in the Insider for this, because I did an article from the author of the Truce at Baccarat. She still has like there's still restrictions when they're doing that about like Luke can't really train people.
Yeah.
But even though they like tease it, and it's a big plot point for this final collection, is like a bunch of people being like, please train me, and him like he literally can't, not because of the character wouldn't, but because like they're not allowed to. So
George
it's like,
Lucas was like, we're saving this for Ryan Johnson. He'll be born in about 1 year.
There's a interesting parallel here. Reading through it is the entire time I was thinking this feels like the very first Aftermath book we read, and that, oh yeah, no, you can write a book, but you can't tell us anything new or do anything new with any of these characters.
And they have to bring everything from outside the galaxy.
Yeah. And it's that kind of like, okay, yeah, these are the characters we know, but they're not allowed to be the characters we know. So we end up with like Rambo Luke, and we end up with like, oh, well, Fluke has his own arc that he goes on.
Is there ever going to be a movie with horny red people? Nope. Let's put him in the comic. How about a fucking dumbass rabbit? Nope. Let's put him in the comic. Like,
yeah, it feels weird because you wanna love it as Star Wars, but then you get entire issues where it's like, we went to the setting of Blood and Wine from Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And you're like,
why?
What?
But it makes sense because they can't go to fucking...
Yeah, it's like looking at the history of it and seeing like, all right, they had a bunch of people, and then Joe Duffy kind of comes on for the last bit, and then she like discovers Cynthia at whatever the early versions of their Comic-Con were called. I forgot. We talked about it on the Insider, but like one of those things literally was like this young artist whose boyfriend shared her drawings with Joe Duffy in like an artist alley.
Yeah.
And she was so taken with it. She was like, bring her here. And then later she ended up being the person that drew it. And I think that like her art is the coolest part
He's
of
been
all
trying
of these
to
old
like
stuff.
ask me if he should like buy the art and put it in like order on his wall, like because it's
I
so
want to
beautiful.
like I want to get physical versions of that issue and like make it a tapestry. I think it's just like so striking. It's so fucking rad that they showed in the back of the omnibus like ads they did for events, like how they would do like Vader Down. They did it's like Cynthia Martin and Joe Duffy's.
That's the sweetest.
And it's like a picture
With
it's
the
like
chick.
pop art of
Yeah.
them like fighting. And I like, dude, if I see that now, it's rad. But if I saw that as a kid, I'd be like, a fucking lightsaber whip against Luke with two sabers? Like,
yeah,
Little Davis would
Big Davis is losing his mind.
play
What-
the
what
Star
would he-
Wars version of jazz.
There we go. Yeah,
in his
yeah,
pants.
okay, yeah.
He would be like,
You're right. Actually, Davis currently does it.
yeah, he does it.
Yeah. So it is really like getting the context for it. And I think that even in our reader, people were like, in
What
our
is her
last
name? Cynthia
emails.
what?
Cynthia Martin. I
Is that
think is
right?
her name.
She,
Yes.
the story
She also changes. I think Cindy Martin is she like changes her working name to that later. Maybe because Cindy is like easier to remember. But now I've read it and now I'm like, whatever. But yeah,
she said that literally she did not care about comic books at all, and then was sitting with Joe Duffy.
no, her boyfriend.
Oh, sitting with her boyfriend after.
Her boyfriend showed her the X-Men comic.
Yeah, she said she looked at X-Men 173, which is a sick issue of X-Men about Wolverine, and it made her want to dedicate her life to the medium.
That's someone can watch one movie or TV show or see a play, and it gets you, and that's it. Now that's what I want to do.
It is really interesting in this protoverse how things like like nowadays. I don't think you do this. I don't think you like find a random person and Star Wars, your flagship comic, is the lead to be like, we're gonna go with this unknown who's never drawn comics. She was like, at first she didn't know like. Her boyfriend helped her understand how you tell stories through comics because she was like, I didn't like really understand how you told stories. And she mentions the Marvel method, and I feel like you've mentioned it. Is the Marvel method where
You draw it.
the writer tells
it
you
in.
what has to happen, and you write the dialogue and you do everything else?
No, the Marvel method is you kind of talk with the writer about what the story is going to be, and then you draw it, and then the writer writes the words after.
Yes, you're talking about like, which is crazy to me.
I mean, it's
and
in
back
a way
then, they
in
were
a way,
across
it's a
country
vote.
too, and they didn't have like the same tech.
In a
that
way,
you could,
it's
like,
a vote of
easily...
confidence in the artist, right? In a way, it's like power to the artist, but in another way, coming from the point of view of the writer, I'm like, I would never want to do that. But from I don't know, I feel like some people talk about the Marvel method negatively, and I think like if you're a killer sequential artist, like look at Jack Kirby.
I talk about when I talk about the Marvel method, I talk about it like, I can't believe this works.
Yeah.
Like it seems, I don't write comics, but it's like, whoa. But I guess you have an idea as the writer, but you're not like, then you're like, great, it's like a contractor versus an architect where you're like, I love that. Now I have to take that and make it into something. Mm-hmm. And then once you're like, yes, that does follow the action, then you have to like piece together the two versions with dialogue that does a third person do that, or does the writer then do that?
Like put it in.
Like who writes the dialogue then? Is it
There's-
like Joe Duffy writes the dialogue?
Yes, that's
okay,
what.
so then it is still like a two-person.
It is. It's
creative
just the
dance.
opposite of how I would ever be able to conceptualize it in my mind as a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then the way that she was talking about how like they would just be on phone calls like all the time, you're like, well, now you make it romantic. And she also was like, this is the best job of my life. This is the coolest way to do stuff. So I'm like, I guess it does make sense.
Star Wars No Man's Land, freedom, and you got the job because you had sick folder drawings?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's how every artist gets the job, right? Like, it's like, oh shit.
Your portfolio.
Dope art, dude. You want to do my project?
But like, do comic people when do they take unknowns and put them into their flagship property?
Sometimes. But usually an unknown is just like somebody who's really good who like isn't famous. You know what I
Like
mean?
Lucas loves to put unknowns as like the lead and then surround them with the cast of
It's
other
rarely
people. But it's like
I feel like it's rarely going to be somebody who's never published their own work or put out their own work in some way, wanting to be a comic artist. I feel like that's the thing that's pretty crazy about this. But like the idea of like somebody who's like the work speaks for itself every single time. Like, what are you gonna like? If it looks tight, if it's a cool picture of Batman, he can draw Batman.
dude,
Yeah.
look at those fucking issues, and then even the like in between issues when she doesn't draw them, like that Han Solo episode with the kid and the sister or whatever their relationship was. Like Joe Duffy was like, I saw this girl's art, and I was like, this is something she's cooking, like, and dead on, like absolutely.
It's very like Mobius, which in turn is like self-reflexively Star Wars again somehow. Like it just works. It like I don't know how old she is now or what she's up to these days, but I would be very interested to see.
She's only 64.
Right, but I would be interested to see like what she's up to. You know what I mean? Cynthia what? Martin.
She did like a lot of one-off things for like Marvel and DC and some other stuff, and then I saw some collections of stuff I've never heard of before, so I don't know if they're like a lot of, but it like Star Wars, she did a ton of issues, and then everything else seems to be kind of like
not that
one-off things or other stuff.
She did Poison Serial, 7 issues. Star Wars, she did a couple other issues of stuff. Interesting. And then for DC, she did like several issues of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wow. So not even a very prolific comic artist, except that she wrote some
But
of the
then-
best-selling comics ever made.
But then she has like full collections of other independent things later that are like, well, what do those look like?
Graphic novels. Oh, shit.
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
She has a series of historical graphic novels about like Helen Keller and like Sacagawea and Wilma Rudolph.
she has a lot of those, and graphic novels are a lot. So it's not like she wasn't doing stuff. It's just like, you know, if you were doing something for the big two, I would probably have a higher chance of reading it.
Really interesting. Really fucking interesting. Anyway, fantastic art from Cynthia Martin that is unique and like has her own sense of style to it. And yeah, I don't know.
I think it was Al Williamson or one of the guys that from there was talking about, they specifically called out Jolie as like, dude, every time I read about that like pirate lady Jolie, I cry. Like it's so sad. And she's the one that like
got the kiss?
idea of kissing Han ended her life. Like put her on a collision course with
It
destiny.
is sad if it was
It's
if it was a real person, it would be really sad.
just like the idea that like a grown ass man who does comics is like, to this day when I read her storyline, it brings me to tears.
It brought me to
like,
tears in a
'cause,
way.
I mean, like, yeah,
Because-
I also cried.
You
laughing.
cry because you're like a young woman never being kissed. That's the saddest story that ever. Like, why
Damn
why
right,
is it sad to
brother.
you?
It's sad because she didn't get to kiss Han Solo.
I don't even want to kiss him. Why would you say that?
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
turns
Play
her
mind
beret
tricks. That's
threateningly.
actually what we don't realize is that was Leia's original Force Awakening.
Oh my
was,
God.
Her like incepting that, not just saying it, but like giving her shared
Star
like,
Wars:
kissing.
Forced Awakens.
I
I don't like that. Not a fan.
There's two wolves. One that loves puns and one that doesn't want to be associated with that.
With the
Those
Force
are
Awakens,
very
no.
smart wolves. Shall we get to it? Star Wars 99, Touch of the Goddess. Luke has been sitting in a tree thinking about Kiro, who he thinks is dead at this
Yo,
time.
wait. By the
Also,
way,
the Kiro bit was like,
He died off screen in the previous story.
yeah. Really quickly. By the way,
Yeah.
the cover is one of the craziest, hardest. It literally is Han over like a dead
If Lando dies.
If Lando dies, I'll destroy your planet.
Yeah.
That's the cover, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And here's the thing. It actually is in the issue.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest part of the issue.
yes,
for me.
agreed. Yeah. yeah.
It's really bizarre, but it also probably sold
Cover
it probably
that
sold some comics.
me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
They actually they even talked about, like, Joe Duffy was talking about, like, we couldn't show stuff, like, we couldn't have any Darth Vader, but, like, we would cheekily, like, put him on covers as, like, a memory.
Yeah.
And that's how we got it in there. And I'm
Same
like,
thing with Han Solo too.
that
Yeah,
one,
like,
that one guy's like,
beautiful-
oh, I had to do, like, a throwback.
Yeah, the painted cover of Han Solo for like some reason.
Like that one issue
annual.
from
Yeah.
the last one where it's literally Darth Vader's on the cover and then he's in the issue as a dream for Luke. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you buy it because you're like, oh.
Darth Vader. Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about? This is like a classic thing. I don't know exactly what era this was, but it was like at one point in time, there was like a trick with comics that if you wanted to sell, you just put a gorilla on the cover.
What?
Because if you just put like, it doesn't matter what's going on inside, but if you just put like there's like a gorilla involved, like people would be like, oh shit, we got to see what happens with that gorilla.
First off, that's insane. Second off,
I didn't
gotta know what happens to that
I
gorilla.
didn't see Cocaine Bear,
Yeah,
but
it's in the same
I almost did because I was like,
Cocaine Bear.
well,
Yeah.
I
gotta
you
see
made a
that
whole
gorilla.
movie about this. Like, I really want to.
You know
I gotta
what
see
kept
the
you
gorilla.
from it? Didn't have a gorilla fighting the cocaine bear.
That's exactly.
There was no King Kong
Dude,
fighting that bear.
If a gorilla comes out and takes like a double-bladed lightsaber
No,
out
no.
to fight Cocaine Bear,
I gave up on the Kong, those movies a while ago, but I saw, like, he has, like, signature weapons
you
in
messed
them now,
up.
and I'm like,
You messed up if you gave up. It finally got good.
or did it finally understand how dumb it was?
Have you seen like 85% of the Godzilla movies?
I've seen some of the bad ones.
Yeah, because the bad ones are the best ones. Like the ones where there's goofy shit happening.
Yeah.
that was what
Gamera?
was
That's
was
good
missing.
stuff.
Like the fact that we're trying to pretend like
When he
Godzilla's
spins and the kids sing.
like when we're trying to pretend like Godzilla's not dumb, like another big monster that this one's shaped like something else and they gotta fight for some reason. Like
I think I just got older than 12, so that kind of storytelling didn't hit
says
me.
the fucking a Kid-Dilla guy who's wearing a fucking KK slider hat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Why don't you go back to preschool?
I'm working on a comeback that's going to destroy you.
Oh wow!
No.
The jerk store called.
I guess, like, look, Luke gets in there, but, like, if we're going to watch a whole movie with, like, real actors and stuff, like, actually Kong Skull Island, for me, understood how to, like, do dumb with, like, kind of fun and clever and interesting. Mm-hmm. And the other ones are just, when they're overly serious, then I'm like, I feel like an idiot made this, or like, this is just so stupid.
Did you watch Godzilla vs Kong?
Let them
It's like a high five. That's a movie. It's like the.
I saw Hobbs and Shaw. I get it.
It's way better than Hobbs.
And the first 2/3 of that movie
Strongly
is like
disagree.
the first 2/3 of Hobbs and Shaw. I'm like, hell yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw rules.
All I was thinking when I was watching Hobbs and Shaw was, I wish these motherfuckers were 400 feet tall each.
You know what? I agree.
You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Luke is sitting in a tree thinking about Kiro, the fluke guy who died in the last thing, allegedly. Lando calls him. They have a talk about whether or not Luke is responsible for Kiro's death, which Danny, who is like the fun-loving, hilarious Zeltron, has like become like punished snake.
Dude, she's like,
you know that scene where
I
Snake's
love
putting the
Danny's
ashes
arc.
on his face? That's where she's at right now.
New Danny rules.
Yeah, she's suddenly got hot because she's like, yeah.
there is something, and it's like, because we didn't get to go that far, her and Den, like, their like arc together is almost works in like
like
a weird
realistic.
way.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
realistic.
so, because they just jump to the end, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden everyone like,
They just describe
seeing you
it to
guys
us,
like
yeah.
hate fuck, but you don't even like hate live together. There's something here, but not here.
Yeah. So the other four, like John and Bob and the other four Zeltrons, Leia's dudes, not feeling that great.
Her boy band.
They're wondering why Leia's hanging around with Fen Shisa, who's not a character that we know about, right? They don't like Fen Shisa, and they don't like that he also bums out Han Solo because Han Solo likes Leia.
We know about him from, isn't he like from?
What I mean is we don't know how he has arrived here yet because for some reason they like do like a flashback that really is kind of confusing.
They don't ever address this, but I do, like, we were talking about last time, like, I think, did they just get behind on art or something? Because they
I think they wanted to have the
whipped
battle.
orders around.
Yeah.
And even when they do come, I'm like, this doesn't really explain. You still just showed up.
I think it would have been fine though if he just showed up the second way first. It wouldn't have felt so weird because he was already so. It was like it's the same exact thing that happened with fucking Mango Baobab or whatever that guy's name was, where you're just like, well, we introduced him like in the movie that came out after the fucking show. Like, what the fuck are we doing? But Fenchis is here. They don't like that it's bumming out Han and it's bumming out Leia. Lando tells Luke that Han hasn't been pleased with his arrival, although he was glad to see that Fen also brought Bay, who is a half-breed,
like a giant man.
He's a half Nagai, half Corellian.
It's like if Cable was a Ronin, kind of.
That's good description.
That's interesting. It's like if Frank Miller drew Cable, and
he just like looks very anachronistic. Like he's like one that he doesn't look like the naked pirate sci-fi. He looks like a different. Not really.
He doesn't look like he belongs in Star Wars.
And they gave him like a G.I. Joe eye. He doesn't like it's a different.
He
a weird
doesn't.
vibe.
Well, he's not from the galaxy, but he is. He's okay. So Han Solo's childhood friend was part Corellian, somebody from his planet, and part a race of extragalactic refugees that there were almost none in the galaxy. So
But they didn't know that. That's a revelation.
That's just chance, but it's true. And so that's what's going on with Bay. Luke tells Lando Han has volunteered.
Oh, and he's like a folk hero. Like he just goes around and helps people, and is a folk hero.
He's like a
to people.
superhero, basically. Like
and
weird,
he just
weirdly.
fights with like a sword in a world where
like
that doesn't
Link.
make any sense.
Luke, well, but so does Luke in a way. Luke tells Lando.
No, he has a laser sword that can deflect like laser blasts. So, and he has like magical power where he can see what's happening.
Yeah, and Bay.
This is just like a really good samurai.
Yeah, but he also is a.
Yeah.
Aren't the Nagai and the Zeltrons both kind of like?
Dude, they do not.
What are
get
their
to
power?
go
Yeah, what are their power levels?
They just talk about because like in that was it last issue where they were like, there's certain races are like, it's like now like Vulcans are like super strength compared to like humans, but they don't like really talk about
It's
power
not a
levels.
crazy
except
super
that
strength.
They have like
Yeah.
something about them that is better.
Compared to humans, they're much stronger, but compared to like some of the machines on our planet, they're not that strong. You know what I mean? It's
Going
like-
back to what
it's
Dave
weird.
was saying about the samurai look, this issue is crazy because it is still very He-Man coded across the entire thing, except for the fact you have this dude who's like a samurai, and then Fumio, who is the most anime-looking character I've ever seen in Star Wars.
He literally has like different shaped eyes.
They do the eyes and the like anime face, and I'm just like,
I think he's supposed to be an alien with weird features, and that's just like sort of like a accident.
Shorthand.
Yeah,
for,
but I don't know.
yeah, it's weird.
Luke tells Lando Han has volunteered to go with Akbar and Bay on like a mercy mission. And then the idea is that they go to Godo, which is this planet. They land there. They've taken a protective containment radiation bath because the planet has like a blight on it that's taking like, it's like sucking the life of everybody. So you have to have this like treatment done before you go. And that's why Han and Bay don't get hurt. But like, the people of the planet have like a sort of like magical connection to the spirit of their world. And so they can't really do anything for them. And so they go around and they look around and they like talk to some people. And Akbar says they bring Fumio, who is a Godoan. They all look kind of like Fumio.
They do.
Because he's one of the only people there who speaks standard or basic or whatever. They call it galactic standard, but it's basic. Akbar is heading off to see shipments and seeing how the doctors are progressing with their research. And the boys notice that every house has like this weird like thing, like a altar for flame gems. And Fumio says that these are supposed to like make the goddess happy, so they'll smile down upon them. But now they failed her, and so that's why this is happening, is because they failed. They like failed her, and so that's why they're getting sick. And so they go into the house of the goddess and the heart of the planet and the center of the people's worship. It's like a church kind of temple, but I think it actually literally also is the heart of the planet. I don't really know what's up
It's
with
the
that.
machine
That's what
heart.
they said,
It's
yeah.
just true. I think this whole situation is just true. And so
It's true, except for it's not magical. It's like
right, they
scientific.
just don't
They
understand it. Yeah,
when you
yeah.
lose the context,
yeah.
it becomes magical.
Han notices that the place is barely affected by the same thing that is affecting everybody, and Bay is like, this seems familiar to me. And then Han realizes that the whole place is a machine suddenly, and not a god, and tells Fumi to run back to the Falcon, get Chewie and the droids. Everybody's in the temple. They're trying to figure it out. Han asks Bay to like take a cloth off something in the middle of the room, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's that statue from like 20 issues ago or whatever it is."
I don't remember the exact dialogue, but I think they almost just laugh at how like, "Oh, I can't believe we didn't notice this. There was a machine room with a covered thing earlier."
Yeah,
There's
they're
like
like-
two features in their sacred room, and you're like, "Okay."
It is weird. They're like, the goddess, and it's just like it's clearly a covered something.
It's like, tell me you haven't played a Resident Evil game without telling me you haven't played a Resident Evil game, because that's clearly you got to put two things in
Yeah,
there.
These guys
it's so-
would not have passed MTV's Fear. They would not have done a good
like,
job.
Could not believe. I was like, those stupid things that I was like, wow, good thing Lando at some point when he was escaping with his life was like, hold on, I got to grab these two statues.
That honestly though, that's so Lando.
Yeah, very Lando.
What it does tell me is like, is it dumb? Yeah, but I guess it's kind of interesting that they were like thinking about planting seeds in this comic that wouldn't pay off till later. Or did they just like, oh, actually, am I making it seem like, oh, we want to do something with this later, so let's put them in there now? Or were they just like, oh, we had this thing from earlier, let's pay it back?
It's probably about 50-50
Okay.
on the comic book writers, like book of tricks. You know what I mean? Like sort of always half, right?
Yeah.
You're always like, well, what do we have that we can bring back? 3PO's like, the machine's almost perfect, but it's missing two things. They are almost decorative to the untrained eye. However, la 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 la. And then they're like, shut the fuck up. We know where those are. Han and Chewie go, we got to go to Endor. We got to go talk to Lando. We'll be back. And they go back to Endor. Han and Chewie tell Lando and Luke about the missing pieces, the dancing goddess, the minstrel, that whole situation from that. I think it was the flashback adventure, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And Lando won them from this guy who told him they were really valuable but didn't know why they were valuable. Luke says, well, turns out they were valuable because literally an entire planet's religion was based around it or something. And so I guess at some point the planet Godo became unfit to support its native life forms, and someone made a machine to fix that and then devised the religion around it. And so then Lando now is like, okay, fine, then I better go see that guy. Because this is Drebel. This is the guy that Lando like said he was.
This issue, or
Don
this
Corneo.
whole comic run, I don't know if this is early on, so I don't know if they knew then. It does like close off a bunch of storylines, and this was like a pretty this part is like an inoffensive way to just be like, let's just touch back in with a person and see where they're at now.
I would say at the end, you're saying it was abrupt. I wouldn't say that they were like completely caught off guard, but I do think probably they lost like 2 or 3 issues from the run at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I think they knew pretty soon it was going to be over for a while. Yeah. But I think the actual ending, they just wrapped it up quick just because.
But what happens here where they go back to get it from him does not seem like they were forced to wrap it up. It like,
no.
As
They're
organically
just
as this
doing
can
stuff,
be,
yeah.
it seemed to just be like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, you brought this back up. You went and saw this guy. We saw how he changed. That's cool.
The biggest flaw with all of this, all the issues we're going to talk about today, is the fact that they clearly knew there was going to be an end. So, like, we need to wrap up all these things. So a lot of it seems like, and then we solved it.
Setting them up and knocking them down. Yeah, exactly.
And it's fine. It's just not as compelling as a lot of the previous issues, where it's kind of like, okay, yeah, no, here's an ending, but like, it's all right. It's an okay ending.
We always complain when we don't get endings.
Are you talking about this issue or just the
entire
Yeah.
entire
This back end has been
Yeah,
kind
the
of
back end like feels very rushed, but it also feels like I'm happy we're getting endings, and so I don't hate it. But it's also, you can tell they had, all right, it's gonna end soon, and so we got. It's like when you watch like the final season of a TV show, and it's very clear they knew it was gonna be the final season, so they just cram everything they can in.
Yeah,
and you're like, all right, sure. I mean, I'm glad we got an ending and it didn't just stop, but also it's very clear that they knew.
It doesn't feel.
Yes, a lot of it doesn't feel earned.
So Luke and Han go visit Lemo and Sanda, who were the Drebel people, and they're in prison, and they strike a deal to. They take some of the like flame gems from that planet, and they give them that in exchange for the pieces that they need. And when they tell the boys where to go, we like see like another guy, like a, like a spying on them kind of deal.
This is like so weird that maybe because these are short issues or they did a lot in the issue, that whole subplot is like a nothing.
Yeah.
You see him, and then he gets aced immediately, and we're like, I guess, do we just need like do we need action? Like, or are they like, can we have someone get shot?
I think that's literally what they do. Because like at this next part, they're on Stenos. Lando tells Chewie about Drebel, who is now, he had the statue because he thought he won it, and then he controls like a whole portion of the capital, and like shit's going wrong, so they just like run down an alleyway. So then Han and Luke are on Arcan 4, and they're also like kind of in trouble. Han is like about to get shot, but Luke uses his lightsaber to deflect it. They go into the hideout without a password. They use the password, which I believe is Bantha, if I remember correctly. And they don't buy it immediately, but then they just pay to get in. And then when they have the statue, that spy dude shows up and holds him in gunpoint, and he's like, give me the statue and stuff. But then Han just like shoots him because Han actually clocked him like a long time ago and just like aces him out. So they're like, that was lucky.
I think like the two interpretations that I have are like, one, they had to have more action, although there is like, they get shot at a bunch. The other one is like, Han and Luke go on some adventures, and Han is always getting pushed away or being like, because he's not a superhuman, and so they do want to give him occasional like
cool guy
moves, or like later on, like Lando does a thing that saves all them, and Lando's like, everyone's like, you saved us all, and he's like, I fucking stole Han's move. Like everyone's like, no, how'd you know how to do that? I copied a guy.
Yeah, the guy who's not allowed to fly spaceships at this time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like, maybe they just wanted like to remind you that Han isn't just a joke, like he is cool. But to me, I was like, okay, all right, well, that's curtains on that guy.
Yeah, so shit's going to hell, and then Drebel shows up and he's like, no, don't kill anybody. Lando and Chewie are my friends. And Drebel takes him inside. He tells him how getting the award like turned his life around, and that he like was a hero all of a sudden, and he knew what he'd been missing. And Lando was like, okay, but can I please have the statue back, because it's a matter of life and death, and you don't really need this statue because now you're like, you earned this still. We can't take that away from you, and we just need this so you can save it. And he's like, you know what? You're right. Okay. And then Luke places the minstrel in the slot. Nothing happens. Fumio says that's too late, and they've run out of time. But then Lando and Chewie show up with the other bit, and they put it in, and then the light flashes, and then like immediately the planet is healed. And they go away, and Godo's like the first of many people in this comic book that go, yay!
Dude.
And then they leave. And then the rebels
forgot about the bugs.
Dude,
yay!
They're my favorite guys.
I fucking hate those
guys are,
oh my God.
In my mind, they all have French accents, they're so funny to me. You know, the guy,
like, if that was the end of this, it would be a better issue to me than what they do next, which is like, Lando immediately gets sick. They remember, oh shit, he didn't have time to get his like whatever Nile virus vaccine or whatever. So he's like sick. Oh, we got to go take him back to get healed. And then in the like 5 minutes, they're like, we've passed a new law where no outsiders can go back there.
They're like, sorry, dude.
They're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, we just saved your whole planet. Like, sorry, I don't make the rules. That's how it is. And then they're like, we're going to kill you. All of us will kill your planet if you don't let him come there.
It's just rude. It's just like ungrateful.
I get it. Like, it's a very weird situation, but legitimately they show like everyone be like, yeah, I'll kill you too. Like, everybody is like, we will kill you if you don't let him in there. Then they're like, okay. And then like Akbar's like, that was crazy. Everybody got like a little bit insane there
Red
for
5,
a second.
ready to murder.
Oh boy, I'm
Red
glad
2,
that they
ready
let
to pull
him
the
in and
trigger.
we got the fuck out of here. And I was like, what the fuck? What
C-3PO
Everybody's
here,
like, I will
ready to bust
kill
some
your
skulls.
whole planet if you don't let me get my friend here. And I kind of get it, where you're like, I don't have time for your bullshit. We just saved you. But it's weird to put that in the issue. I don't know why it's in the
Admiral
issue.
Akbar, the Hujibs are standing by to commit genocide.
That didn't happen because none of this is real. Somebody decided that should
Wedge
be...
Antilles, ready to kill.
That should be
Jim
like...
One, ready to kill.
Dan Nub on deck with my gun.
It's like
Ewoks assemble.
like, it's crazy.
We're gonna kill these motherfuckers.
I don't have the...
For Lando.
Actually, maybe I saved a picture of it. I don't know, but it's like the whole bit is fucking crazy.
It
and
is
it's
crazy.
serious.
It looks like Queen.
I just remember Akbar being like, okay, well,
What the fuck?
We're not going to talk about that. I'm glad it didn't get weird. That you took it to a place that I don't ever want to, like, let's just go. What was we're not putting this on the record.
Yeah.
We're moving on. We're never going to talk about this again, but that was fucking crazy.
You guys are never going to be able to drive a spaceship ever again.
Like, you guys are like, you can't do that. You can't
Assemble
just
the B-Wings.
say you're going to kill a whole planet.
So that works, though.
It works.
They let Lando in, and Han's like, I'm not going to be taking any flame gems. Lando says that he's going to... I'm sorry, he says he's going to pay Lando's debt for him. And that's crazy. Lando asks Han if he really would have started a war just to save him, and Han says, guess we'll never know, bud.
Like, if you didn't read this and you're just hearing us describe it, like, imagine at the end of, like, a Superman movie or any, like Steven Universe, anyone where, like, the hero is, like, they're, like, nice people, and then they're like, well, you can't do this, and they're like, I will fucking kill you. I will end everything that you ever loved. You will die. It's like, wow.
Dude.
What?
Hear me out.
What the hell?
Hear me out. You know Superman?
Oh, when he like goes and meets Lex,
Yeah.
and he gives Lex the speech, but
Yeah.
instead he's like, Luther, I will kill you in front of all of these people right now. I don't give a shit. I will throw you out this goddamn window. That'd be, first off, incredible and ridiculous, but like it's the same vibe.
He gets dressed down and his dog does the dirty work for him, but it's like
Imagine if Superman
it's
bad.
it's like for a second,
No way.
the Luke at the beginning of Splinter of the Mind's Eye took over.
Yes.
Like it was like
Wormy was back. Yeah, Wormy was ready to kill.
And again, I get it. Like if you were like, are you fucking dudes? I respect your religion or whatever. We just fucking dude, we just saved all of you. We were allowed in 5 minutes ago.
This is Kira on my home planet.
And they
I'm ready to kill
cures
you.
instantly. It's like they made such clown stakes that it's like
no one.
maybe like you'd be like, yeah, kill him. I don't fucking
This is
like
no
that.
Death Star.
can
We're back.
see-
We're
no
ready to
one
kill.
can see what just happened here, but as Davis was passionately explaining that, Hat turned around backwards.
He turned his
glasses
KK slider head
came
around.
Off.
Yeah.
Was having a moment, and I'm with you completely.
You have to understand where I was left at the end of the last thing. I was like, you guys, I can't describe to you properly how fucking rad the duel. I was like, I'm so
We
hyped,
moved
dude.
on from that. I'm so sorry.
Right, and so
We
I'm like,
moved on.
I've been waiting for
She
the
has a way worse outfit in
continuation
this
of
half
this.
of the book.
And then we got the one where it's like, actually, you have to wait 3 issues for the next one, and we're doing other artists, and we're doing whatever, and it's like, what the fuck is this? So like,
Yep.
they do dumb shit like this all the time. I was like, ready for more, and then this was it. What I do like about this issue, the stuff with what's the other guy, like Lando's rival, Drebel. It's cool. I don't know. Like when you go back and it's like he actually like there's a misunderstanding, which is why his like overzealous guards that loved him so much were there to protect him. But the idea that like, hey, if you treat people like not like enemies and like you can like make people good,
Right.
Like the idea of like
That's what politics are. That's what diplomacy is.
yeah, there's some specific dialogue that contradicts earlier dialogue where he's like, I never knew what it was like to be loved before. And I'm like, literally last time your men, like Bosk, was going to die. Like your guys loved you so much that they were willing to die for you. So
You were like moved by it. You like felt it.
yeah. So like whatever. But like the idea that like you tricked someone into being like, okay, this guy is the hero. And then you like actually became the hero of it. And then you were like, oh, I'm so sorry. I need that thing. And he's like, this is meaningless to me in the face of helping other people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, Drebel unironically like
He became the hero.
broke
that-
good. He like they like gas lit him
He just needed a
positively
chance.
and it worked. And
Yeah.
it's
He
like
got kitchen nightmared.
well, and I know that like
They gaslit him positively.
Yeah.
I don't know when this matches up, but like there are like a lot of studies that came out about like positive reinforcement with kids and making them feel capable and a bunch of other stuff. And
Definitely wasn't
maybe-
1984. That's for sure.
I guess like everybody gets a trophy. Maybe it's at the 90s when that started happening.
For sure.
I don't know, but the idea of like kindness breeds kindness in a institutionalized way, like everybody kind of knows throughout history that, but like where it was like, no, let's put this as a message forward. To me, it reminded me of that, or like Bulk and Skull, or like a kind of like, oh, this like bad guy actually changes positive, like, yay.
I was always wondering when Bulk and Skull were going to become
They
influencers.
saved Angel Grove from Ivan Ooze.
It's true. It's true. They're good guys
Yeah.
in the end.
Dude,
And they weren't drinking.
That's a whole lot.
They were just drinking smoothies.
If we
man.
ever do the Power Rangers podcast, which I don't want to do, I got thoughts about
the Power Rangers old Canon
their
book club.
dynamic is like, it's problematic, dude. The way like sometimes they're bullies. There's some episodes where just like the like handsome rich white kids like clown on those guys, and they didn't do anything wrong, and you're like, ugh, this is not a cool
Makes
dynamic.
sense. Freaks and geeks.
Saban, I don't know, buddy. I don't know if all of your messages are really good.
You don't think that guy might have been?
I don't know if.
In it for the message.
Luckily, he like treated everybody well and paid them what they were worth.
Yep. Okay. Star Wars number 100. First strike. Admiral Akbar is giving the pilots like very complicated flight instructions for the next mission, which is a holographic piloting exam. Han immediately destroys the computer.
He literally like Kobayashi Maru'd this entire. Like, everyone's like, "What is he doing?"
He passes it though. He's like salty about having to take it, but he passes it, but he fucks it up.
So like, was the stuff that they were showing, because they showed like holographic blue things, was everybody able to see that?
Yes,
or
that's
was
what they were freaking out. Yeah.
Or was that, I couldn't tell if that was like them showing like what his brain thought is like. And he's like stressed and being weird. So I couldn't tell if they were reacting to him just like fidgeting or if everybody's watching him.
Yeah,
No, everyone had their screens, and his screen somehow ended up projecting way up in the sky in different shapes, and like
It like broke the bounds.
Yeah,
of,
he
it's
like-
like if the Vectrex could just come apart.
If it was 3D. Yeah.
he destroyed the blueprint. I love that bit because it was very much like he's like, "Well, I did that. I guess I'll do the next one." And everyone's like, "What the hell is he doing?" Which I think shows like how outside the box of a pilot
he
is.
Kobayashi Maru'd, except unlike cheating, he just did it. He like won by not doing the drills, by being like, well, that's not how you do that.
Well, Leia wants to
which is
talk.
how he actually succeeds in the universe.
Leia wants to
Absolutely,
talk
yeah.
to him, and Fen Shisa interrupts her, but Han is kind of salty because he's been a pilot
By the
his
way,
whole life, and he
were
just
they
doesn't.
trying to do another like? Is Fen and Leia going to get together?
I don't know,
like,
but
post Return of the Jedi, which is crazy.
without saying it,
Every
maybe?
issue that they were in, they like played that weirdness
I think
off
they
each
were
other.
kind of testing his manhood more than they were like doubting their relationship.
But at the end of every issue, Leia's like, "Han, you're back. I love you."
Yeah, exactly.
This is
Yeah,
so
exactly.
crazy.
This one, I believe, if this is the one that ends the way I think it is more about Han,
Sure.
like regaining his own confidence in himself in the post Jedi world where it's like, oh, I'm not like needed as much, and then he has like a funny one-liner. Whatever, we'll get there. Like
Luke's talking about that Bay never signed up for the testing, and that he's currently talking to Gen and Leia, sorry. And Han's like, yeah, nobody's tall as Bay but a Wookiee, and he's like a ground fighter. He's like hand to hand. And Luke says that he heard stories about Bay as a kid and is surprised that Bay is real, which is crazy. And Han says that he grew up with Bay and that his father was a Corellian and that his mom left early and then his father took it out on him. And you see Han getting in a fight with other kids.
Yeah, we get like a flashback.
Yeah, you see Fen like saving Han from kids. Bay saving Han from kids, and then you see Bay teaching Han how to fight, and then you see Bay winning the Corellian blood stripe that goes on Han's pants, and like inspiring Han to win his own blood stripe. And then you see Han in the hospital at Bay's bed, and
It's like you lost your eye,
yeah,
man.
Bay can't see, but one of his eyes is fine, and the other's going to get electronic replacement. And then Maruk and Rahul.
it's gonna be cool. It's a virtual boy eye. So it's gonna just be shades of red.
Mark and Rahul, the two guys, come get Han because Leia sends him over, and her and Mon Mothma and Akbar are wanting to talk to him and Luke. Luke is in lightsaber practice, trying out his like double lightsabers with three drones.
There's one image when I saw it, and it's like right in the center of the page, and it's like red, but it's Luke with his two lightsabers, and the entire time I was like, Davis is
gonna love
absolutely
this.
loving
Yeah.
this image. I was like, this man.
I'm not saying like.
Took his glasses off again.
Let me just say that like every one of these issues had a Thanksgiving feast for me.
yeah,
Like
I do it.
even
yeah.
if I hated it, there was like one panel where I was like, I'm okay. Mm-hmm. We'll get through this.
It's such like a great one panel shot of Luke like deflecting stuff.
Yeah.
with two lightsabers. Like, yeah, Davis is gonna love this.
Yeah, Luke tells Han how he got his extra lightsaber. They both talk about Nagai and the allies.
I wish I was better than this. I wish I was like cooler.
They're in the tracking station. Leia explains they detect a large number of small craft coming towards them. Nobody seems to know what's going on. Since nothing's been reported, Leia, Mothma, and Akbar assume it's hostiles, possibly the Nagai strike force. Akbar commands all the pilots, except for Luke and Han, to man ships. And then they're like, why aren't we flying? And he's like, You guys were like really crazy at flying, so you guys aren't allowed to fly based on the computer, but we'll figure it out later, so just don't do it. And then they're like, who programmed the computer? And it's like Lando for some reason.
No, it's like I hate this circumstance, but it's hilarious because they're like, Lando, what the fuck? And he's like, well, what? Like, the war's over. I'm a businessman. I thought like if I made myself crucial to the thing, I would just get like a cushy ass job. Like, I don't know. I didn't know you were gonna fucking like break the computer. What do you want, dude?
Yeah, exactly. Han's like all sad on the ground. He explains to Luke that he tried to take off in the Falcon, got locked in a tractor beam that wouldn't release until Chewie and Yen Nub signaled that they'd fly it instead. And then Luke suggests taking speeder bikes and going to see what this guy Tippett, the Ewok, told them about earlier. And when they get over there on the speeder bikes, they see they're like, what the hell? But we don't see what they see yet. Lando's teaching the pilots to use new formations that the Nagai don't know about because it seems like the Nagai have all their formations figured out. Fenn and his squadron are joining in. And then Han and Luke are watching Knife tell his people about, and some of the Maccabees, which is a hilarious name, about their plan to lure all the pilots off the planet so they can capture and annihilate the base. Because everybody thinks the Nagai have an agent on the ground, so they know all the tactics. So Knife commands Lieutenant Hool to take his men and half the Maccabees to kill the warriors, sends the rest of the warriors to destroy the tracking station, all of its personnel, just wipe it out. Han suggests outmaneuvering and taking them out quickly, but Luke is more concerned about Leia, and as they discuss their strategy, they get discovered by a Nagai warrior, but Luke takes him down like immediately. So they go back to the speeders, and they notice that there's a Maccabee trying to take out some Ewoks, so they take out the Maccabee, and then Luke goes on ahead, and Han sticks around to see if the Ewoks are fine, and then the warrior suddenly grabs his leg as if he was never even hurt, the Maccabee, because it doesn't have a head, and he wouldn't expect it to be able to be alive, but then Han like shoots it, doesn't work. It turns out that its face is like on its body, which shouldn't have been that big of a surprise.
It's a weird like video game mechanic that they threw in here for like suspense, where it's just like, oh, the robot, the head isn't really the head.
I'd be like, oh.
The way I kept trying to be like, what? Why do I recognize this body shape? And only just now did I realize it's kind of like
it's Doctor Who as fuck.
Yeah, it's kind of like the aliens at the beginning of Fifth Element.
Oh yeah,
like it has like
Are you German?
It's that vibe.
Yeah.
They're very weird.
They remind me of Robo.
Yeah, they do have a Robo vibe.
Yeah. What?
No, just.
The man likes the song.
It does sound a lot like Rick Astley. So then Han takes the speeder bike, revs it up, lets it go straight into the guy, which kills him finally. The pilots are being outsmarted by the Nagai because they have all their plans. Lando's like, they must have a great flight leader. A Nagai is like, ha, when will they realize that they were betrayed before we even got here? And then like somebody's actively telling them to shift formations, and it turns out, guess who it is? It's Lumia, Lady Vader, and she's wearing like a dress that has a Darth Vader vibe to it. I don't know. It's like an old it's like if Vader was like a Civil War belle, that's what it would be.
Not my favorite redesign of her.
Yeah, Gone with the Wind Vader is what it is. It's weird. On the ground, Mothma, Akbar, and the droids are all discussing how poorly the squadron's doing, that the evacuation is suicide when there's when it's so scary up there. In the tracking station, Leia and the Zeltrons are wondering why it seems like the enemy might be listening, just based on the maneuvers. Rahul mentions going outside, but then Maccabee shows up and grabs his arm through the wall. Leia hits the Maccabee's arm and it lets him go, but it turns out that's just because there's more showing up. Luke tells Mothma and Akbar about the spy that's probably around, and then the guy, more importantly, Knife, are on Endor, tells him to alert all personnel, get ready to evacuate. Han is still in the woods. He's still trying to get back to Leia when Bay stops him, and Han's like, Bay, what's up? Can you help us? But he's like, I'm the narc, dude. And then he tries to shoot Bay, but Bay's like, bam, I'm way better than you at this. And they start to fight. Han's on the ground. He asks why Bay's siding with the Nagai, but Bay says the Nagai are my people. And he's like, what? And he's like, one day I went beyond the galaxy and I found out my mother was in the advanced scouts for the Nagai fleet and thought that Coralie was a galaxy fit for takeover, which to me, I'm a little bit confused about this. Does that mean it's a system fit for takeover? Because my notes say Galaxy. I'm wondering if they just
I think that they meant that the galaxy that they're all in now is fit for takeover
Yeah,
because that's like what everybody does is trying to take over this one, and
is the name of the galaxy?
I think it's just a mess up. Like they just
My assumption was because, like when we explore and go to a place, we pick the name, even though it may not be the name of it.
Right.
My assumption based off of this was because they went to Corellia, and that's where they were. They
Dude,
named the
did they do,
entire
like, a
galaxy
Indians,
Corelli.
like a situation where she's like, like
Yes.
Corellians. They're all
That's absolutely what I thought.
No, actually, I'm from Tatooine.
Yeah, they just named the galaxy just how like we say Milky Way, but I promise that any alien living in this galaxy would be like,
They'll be
what are
like,
you
wait, why
talking
did you
about?"
name it after semen? What is wrong with you people?
yeah. Same vibe. I
Or
feel like
Terra.
Yeah.
It's like what
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
calls Earth.
Why did you name it after Final Fantasy VI?
because it's a great game.
Yeah.
Is the answer.
Even the other races acknowledge that game's supremacy
Everyone,
in the
yeah.
pantheon.
If they got Super Nintendo, they know. So the plan was to wait till the rebels took out the Empire and then pick up the pieces. So Bay talks about how the Nagai were fully accepting of him as opposed to the racist-ass Corellians. And his mother took him in, and he has a little brother, and Han asked what he's going to do now.
I guess they were fully accepting, except for like later when there's people that are half emotionally something else. They're like, look at you, freak.
Yeah.
There's no room for you in our perfect society.
That might be why he doesn't end up on their team in the end. But Bay says he can't kill him, and Knife shows up, and he's like, I can kill him. And then Knife's about to shoot Han, but then Bay jumps and stops him, and then Knife puts his blaster to Bay's head, and then Han shoots Knife down, and then Bay begs Han to stop, and he tells him Knife is his brother, his half brother, and Han's like,
Dude, it's brother and surrogate brother.
it's crazy. So
It's
he
a
tells
love triangle of boys.
So he tells Han to go save his
It's
friends.
a sausage.
He's
a
like,
triangle of
I'll
sausages.
save my brother. Go save your brothers.
Some
Something
sort
like
of
that.
like a multi-sausage sandwich.
Some
where
sort
you,
of
like put a
brother
bunch
fest. Brother
of
fest.
like one of those sandwiches that has different types of like pork in it,
Like a party.
like a bacon and a sausage. and a
What is that famous Italian? It's like 3 different meats in one.
turducken.
No, it's
meatball.
not. It's like when you get the sandwich, you know you're getting a bunch of different meats in it,
Like a.
but it's not called.
Are we talking about just like a submarine sandwich? Torpedo?
No, God damn it! I wish my brain was
The
so
cold
shitty.
cut trio from
No,
Subway?
dude, it's like there's
The
a
Holy
name for
Trinity.
it, and it includes like 3 different cuts of meat.
Italian submarino.
It's a bad simile. Let's move on.
Akbar is telling the
I
squadron.
feel dumb for saying it.
If I knew what you meant, I bet you.
if
it
only I
would've
had
hit-
that really cool Millennium Falcon watch.
I know, right? It'll make
Life would be
everything
so
better.
good.
It'll make
I would
everything
be
better.
different.
Yeah.
Akbar is telling the squadron to abandon all their pre-programmed flight tactics and to be random. And Lando takes off in his own crazy way, and everybody else is just going to have to lock in and stay with him and pray. Chewie and Yenub are psyched about this because they wanted to shoot down a bunch of ships. Lumia realizes that they're fucked because they're like outsmarting her by doing their crazy movements. She orders a retreat. One of the pilots asks how Lando thought of it, and he's like, I copied on Solo.
It's like it's the best.
Yeah.
It's like the best picture where he's just like, "Fuck, goddamn."
The Zeltrons are trying to take down the Maccabees, but are having a hard time taking them down. So it seems like they don't have any brains, obviously, because they can't figure out that the faces are in the torsos. Luke comes to the rescue, and he's like, no, check this out. Bleh, bleh, and just stabs them all in the belly. Luke asks how he knew, and
It's
he's
pretty
like,
sick.
he's like, I let the Force guide me. Their giant eyeballs and mouths on their chests were not enough for anybody to know. Suddenly, a big group of Maccabees appears. and
Listen, the
startles
first time
them.
the turtles fight Krang, they probably also don't understand.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Just
So
saying.
a bunch more Maccabees show up. Their arms and legs shoot off. They fly off into the sky. Han shows up and he's tired because there was no elevator, but he's too late. What happened? What happened? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Luke tells the Zeltrons it's time to pack up and say goodbye to the Ewoks since they're leaving Endor. And when he asks if they want to come to the rendezvous point with them or get dropped off on Zeltron, they say they want to come with him because they love him now. And when the Zeltrons ask how Han and Luke can fly when they're currently no longer pilots, he was like, that's a peacetime order, and we're at war again, so don't worry about it. The Alliance of Free Planets is at war. So that's issue number
Happy
100.
issue 100. A
There's-
long issue.
Double issue, yeah.
It was a double issue, and I've got a couple issues with it. But it was funny. Like
I got
just
double issues
they've
with
been
it.
on Endor for a while, but it was just like last issue that I was like, why are they still doing their like base out of Endor, and then the next issue they leave, which is smart because it's like not defended. It's not a good place to be. And the Ewoks have been burdened enough by tech. They don't really talk about exfiltrating and making sure the Ewoks are protected. I guess like when they're under attack, they don't have time to think about that.
It's also like not anybody gives a fuck about in this comic book. Like who's reading it? Yeah.
That's okay. I guess you're right.
Yeah. What is the Ewok government going to be once we leave, sir?
No, you're right. No one cares about when we
Still-
just leave
still the
places
shaman.
after occupying them.
Even in real America, rarely, unless it is advantageous politically, do we ever capitalize on stuff like
You're
that.
right. Like conceptually, like the moment to moment of this was not wonderful. I was like not that into it, but I like conceptually for the tone of where comics are at right now. This is like the best you can do. We're gonna get later when you can be more violent. Like the idea of like we're introducing them, they're doing like a surprise attack, and we're taking big hits in the beginning before turning it around to like show that these guys are like real deal. This is a great concept. I just don't think it was like
Yeah.
it was not the best executed.
Right.
But that's the story of the last couple issues here. I mean, like it's just
we're in fast
Well, and like
motion.
Knife,
We're in fast
They do
motion.
it like Knife is different than the Nagai to me, even though he isn't a guy because he looks different.
Yeah.
He was originally a different art style, and he like is not as capable as the Nagai are shown to be. Like he keeps like, oh, I broke in and like kidnapped you, and then got beat by like 4 Jersey
He
Shore
feels
dudes.
like a runt.
Like it's like
he feels
not
like a runt. He feels kind of.
But then he's also supposed to be the cold killer. But like the other guy is like much more successful at whatever he wants to do.
Den.
And the rest of them, and like when they're just like a force of creatures, are much more whatever. But yeah,
Issue 101, Far, Far Away. Leia asks Han to do a job for the Alliance, but Han's like, I don't do work for the Alliance. I work for the Rebellion, so what the hell is this? And I don't want to take no fucking vermin on my ship either when he's talking about the Hoojibs. Feels racist. And then Leia protests.
it never won't feel that way.
Leia's like, they're civilized telepaths. And then a guy who looks exactly like Boba Fett grabs Han by the collar, yeets him onto the ground. But it's Fen Shisa.
Mr. Steal Girl back again.
He has just Mandalorian helmet on. He takes a contingent from his world to Endor when they heard the Alliance might be under attack. When Leia walks Fen out of the room, another unknown arm grabs Han to help him up. And by the way, this is the one that takes place before the first one we covered today. So this is like the weird flashback issue. So if you're wondering why they're still on Endor, that is why. Leia walks Fen out of the
Also,
room.
why there were Mandalorian looking dudes in the previous issue,
Right.
With no explanation, and then now you understand. Oh, that was
Fen.
Fen.
Yeah. So Bay shows up, picks up Han. Han's like, "What the hell? You're the mythical galactic hero Bay who I grew up with." And he was on Fen's planet. He decides to come along for a laugh. Bay tells Han he should tell Leia how he feels, but Han thinks that Leia already knows how he feels, which I believe is true following the canon of the films, because I believe that
You would have
they
to.
did say that to each other.
And at the end of this issue, he comes back, and Leia's like, "Oh, Han." So even though they do the whole like fence trying to get in there, it's not ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the ending, well, we'll just like he has like a Empire Strikes Back-esque, I
Yes.
know, line where it's like after realizing I love her a lot, and then being like, "Good to see you again, there, kid."
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like he still maintains his like stupid bravado
Yeah.
at the end.
So in space, there are these like weird energy balls that have like been like throwing off navigation and stuff, and the Falcon goes towards it to see what's going on with it, and the Hoojibs are in the ship to like analyze it, but then he like gets teleported away by it, and they're like not in space, they're in like some kind of like worm space, and they're like, what the fuck?
This is deadass a Star Trek episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is like Deep Space Nine or something.
They're like, yeah, now we're in Camelot.
Yeah.
Is that kind of vibe?
What sort of metallic stallion are you riding in on?
So
Yes,
Gil
yes.
and Risa are the prince and princess, and they're being chased and fired by like a group of people who want to capture them
This
alive.
girl literally looks like like Anna Henrietta or whatever her name is from Witcher 3. Like looks exactly like her.
literally. Then the Falcon shows up through a wormhole and crashes, but the computer of the ship doesn't know where they are. Even Han shoots open the airlock because the ship's upside down, and a bunch of snow and blaster rays come in, and he slides out of the ship, and he's like, what the fuck? And then he's like, what are these shitty guns they all have? And he just kind of like sees these people, and he's like, all right, I'm going to just like deal with this. He quickly handles.
He blasts open the
uses
top of the
uses
Millennium
Deadeye,
Falcon,
yeah.
by the way, and he's like, well, we got to repair her anyways. So he like blows. It's just the weirdest justification. It's like if you had to take your car into the shop and you were like, rather than just opening and closing the door, I'm going to kick it off the hinges. Like, I'll take it to the shop anyways.
All right.
So it was a weird moment that they
Han
put in
uses
there.
Deadeye to like dispatch every bad guy, and
It
then
is
they're
pretty
like,
sick, though.
they're like, we'll get you for this, but they're gone.
Genuine question.
That was
Gil and Rice, whatever her name is, are they going to be married? Is that what this is?
They're like Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, all right.
What I could not tell based on this was whether they were choosing to marry to save the political situation, or because it's like one side of the light side of the planet and the dark side of the planet are at war, and they're the children of them. So was it like they were made to be together, or they are choosing to be together to help with it?
Well, that's because it doesn't make. Because what immediately happens is when they introduce Han to her dad, she like is basically like, "Oh, this is Han Solo. He's amazing," and is like, "I love this guy." And I wrote this note because it's so funny. Gil's in the background after she's like, Han Solo saved us, and he's so wonderful, Dad, and I love him so much. And Gil's in the background, and he goes, "Oh yeah, he saved me too. It was neat."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Gil."
I think.
Oh, buddy.
He is that like little. What is
The hair
I don't like to
is-
use the word, but like cuck. Like he's like,
Yes.
I think the
I'm
bit-
here,
he's
and
like-
Gil is also
Yes.
present.
I think
Yes.
the bit.
Yeah.
I
The
think
entire
the bit.
vibe was like, "Oh, Gil."
I think the bit
Actually, it's
is
like
that
a Back to the Future kind of.
Yes.
And he does even do the like, he like makes her like him in the end.
I think
Yeah.
I think the bit is that Risa and Gil are together and are meant to be together.
but like once Han shows
Then
up,
Han
like
shows up,
every,
she's like, "No, I'm
yeah,
all
the
right."
bit is, but the bit is not like I'm gonna leave and be with Han. I think the bit is just like, what if I did? You know what I mean? Like just seeing a sexy guy makes her feel weird about
he's
her
like
nerdy
a
boyfriend.
sexy guy that's capable and has tech that they could
It's
win
like
the
a
whole
pro
thing.
He's like a spaceman.
Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
pro Han thing, not like a thing where they're not.
It's
married.
also
Yeah.
it's also again they use this
like a
as
bit.
a Han starts this issue watching Fen go off with Leia. And he's like, "Oh man!" And then he ends up here, and then some girl's like, "I will throw myself at you. You are
Yes.
so hot and amazing." And it's like, why are we doing this? Like,
He's feeling
we are
good.
post Return of the Jedi.
He's feeling good. He needs to go on a.
Do you know why we are this? We actually already know this because they're like they're not allowed to progress them at all.
Right.
You have
They
to
just
just
have
like
to-
keep them
so
in like
weird that they keep doing it over and over again.
But that's it. That's exactly why it's so weird.
Treading water, dude.
And not progressive. Anyway, they are one of them is from the night side of the planet, and one of them is from the light side of the planet. And when they were children, to have a truce, their fathers made an alliance based on them being together.
No, kid.
No one told him to get a haircut.
No.
They said, "Gil, we love your hair the way it is.
You look cool, and
Honestly,
don't let anybody
if it's
stop you.
dark all the time, you can't really see it.
That's
Yeah,
true.
you're
Maybe
right,
nobody
yeah.
ever saw his haircut.
They're like, oh,
the Farquad they gave
Yeah.
him."
Gil
Yeah.
mentions that they're going to get
he's
married.
like a dark side 8, but he is definitely a light side like 4.
Yeah, Rice is like, we're not going to get married. What are you talking about, Han Solo? And then R2 and the Hoojibs are trying to figure out what the energy balls are, and they realize they won't be able to get home if they don't drain the energy from their systems. Gil tells C-3PO that the energy balls have always been a part of their planet that come and go in random, but they're lately been acting up, like something's charged them or changed them somehow. Han is bothered that they might be stuck on the planet a while because he has business to attend to, and Rice is like, "Hey, I'll show you around and lend a listening ear." And it's only because he was like, "I don't know, sweetheart," and she was like, "Oh, sweetheart." So it's kind of weird. As they're about to leave the ship, a man and his army appear and prepare to shoot, but Risa stops them. This man is her daddy, and Han just saved her life. Han states that he really
say her
wants
dad.
his daddy, and
Doesn't
Han
she say daddy?
Yeah, she does say
She's
daddy.
like, "Daddy."
That's okay for her to say.
He's daddy, and
Han?
he saved her life. Han's daddy, he's daddy. Both daddy meet daddy. Daddy meet daddy. Han states he really wants to leave, but the energy is preventing the ship from moving, and a weird magician who thinks he's smart.
Oh, you mean Jafar?
Yes,
Who's
the
like,
literal,
"The
the
boy."
Grand Vizier shows up, offers his help to get the ship into the safety of the city, like by physical labor, horses, humans, ropes, and the king.
They
is,
do. It's crazy that there is a panel of this comic which them like overlooking hundreds of people pulling the ship.
Yeah,
like pieces of the pyramid.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
what's going
so
on there.
wild.
But also, the king is kind of excited that his daughter likes Han, which is weird to me. I don't know. But
He's
on
a
the
spaceman.
yeah, on the castle balcony, Han's going over the things that king
Like,
tells him.
If you're the king and you're like, sorry, hold on, you have what now?
Yeah. Okay.
All right,
Yeah, I get.
do it.
Yeah. So Han
Kings famously that were like pawning off their daughters for political stuff weren't that like choosy and
Yeah,
picky
that's
about
true.
like they weren't like love. They're like, you're an asset and I'm just bartering with
We
you.
can have space powers now.
I thought he'd still be into the arranged marriage that like Han saved, but I don't know.
Not even Gil was,
If
as
you
far as I
fought-
could tell.
If you like fought forever, you were like, I just have this better tech. We don't even need. We'll just kill you again.
Yeah. The king tells him that he's welcome in the sun world anytime, and he thinks what it would be like to settle down and rule a kingdom like this. But then he starts thinking about Princess Leia, and maybe he should have told her he likes her. And he never gets the chance to because he's stuck here, and that would be bad, and how sad that would be. And the Hoojibs roll up, and they tell Han they've solved the energy issue and that they'll be able to leave in the morning. And he's like, oh, good. And they're worried about something else, but Han's like, I already know what it is. I got to go see somebody. Let's go see. Because the readers need to be left in suspense. So he goes around town trying to find the man and set up the plan. And he just finds the man, and he tells the man something, and he tells him that it's going to be good for both of them. And the Hoojibs wake up Gil, and they tell him that Han needs to speak with him about something that could dramatically affect his future. And when Gil goes out to find Han, he gets like kidnapped by like some guy that's like, thank Han Solo for letting you get kidnapped, dumbass. And he's like, what? And it's, it seems like Han did something bad. And then Han's in the throne room telling the king that actually he has a plan that's going to solve all the kingdom's problems. It's going to solve the treaty problem. It's going to solve the bandit problem. It's going to solve the male heir problem.
This is, by the way, such a Lando thing.
Yeah. This is
not read as
this is
Han
crazy
at all.
Yeah, he tells the king that he had Gil taken captive. He tells the bandits he'll make all the ransom agreements. Risa, who has been swooning over Han, gets like suddenly turns on Han and wants Gil back. And this was Han's plan to get the girl off of him and onto Gil.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, and so the bandits will, because the family is grateful, there will be no bandits. Everybody's happy. All is well. They're going to go see them unarmed to give them a false sense of security. But when they get there, the bandits surround the king, the princess, Han, and his crew, and they tell them they made their own plans. And then the old wizard shows up, thinking,
Hello, boy.
he thinks he figures everything out. And he's ready to take everybody out. But Han somehow also knew this was going to happen and had already had the Hoojibs suck his gun and tell the royal guard. So everybody's safe, and Han gets ready to leave with the
What
crew.
did the Hoojibs do?
They sucked the gun because he pulls the gun on him to like.
Right, and so they sucked the.
They sucked the gun dry. They sucked it dry.
They sucked him off. Right.
Those filthy little Hoojibs just sucking everyone's guns
filthy
dry.
little Hoojib.
You're
nasty
a nasty little
vermin.
Hoojib. You little gun suckers.
On the Falcon, the Hoojibs are like, we did that on purpose. And Han was like, we just want to make sure everybody had a happy ending. And he's like, yeah, because I like
Dude,
my
if
own
guns
princess.
were cheeseburgers, though, I would definitely be like,
If guns,
were you
if
gonna
guns
use
were
that?
cheeseburgers.
I
I'm
probably
just
wouldn't
saying,
eat them
like,
as much.
Hoojibs are dumb, but if I accept that they live, and if it was delicious, dude,
If guns
I'm
were
just trying to put it. I'm putting
cheeseburgers.
myself in the Hoojib's place, and like if you were just like, hey, and I'm like, dude, you're waving a burger in front of. If you wave a real burger in front of my face for more than 2 seconds, I am taking a bite.
You're
out
biting
of it.
that burger?
That's a fact. Anybody put that to the test? Come to me with a burger, start waving it around. Watch me not eat it.
If guns,
I'm just radicalizing
were
myself.
You're
into
daring
being
somebody
on
to
the side
offer you
of
a
the
burger.
Hoojibs.
Yeah, you're daring somebody to offer you a burger.
Sorry, I'm like,
it's incredible.
I don't like the Hoojibs, but now I'm trying to like look at them differently, and I'm like, look, all right, if we accept that they're real,
They are.
how long if somebody's waving food in your face before you eat it?
You're right.
I'm right.
You're right. They're just like us.
I don't like Hoojibs.
I
if
get it.
guns were burgers,
I'd be eating.
Oh,
I'd be putting
If they're like
cheeseburgers
a
in my mouth.
hamburger, I'd be like, thank God.
No,
If that had
do you have
like,
any
if
coffee?
they had like a slice or two of American cheese, I was about to commit a faux pas.
I was about to eat that. I was about to eat
Eat
that whole
that
gun.
gun.
Make everybody awkward,
So to eat the shit out of that gun.
but I can be okay.
Star Wars 102 School
We're
Spirit.
getting a cheeseburger.
Star
We're going to
Wars-
a gun shop after this.
No, Star Wars 102 School Spirit. Lando and Luke are back on Iskalon discussing the state of the planet after they blew it up. And Lando was like, it looks bad even compared to when I was here. And that was after everything happened. The Chiaki are
It's just
thriving
weird because it's most of it is water.
Yeah, well,
It's like, oh, this looks like shit. It's like-
they explain that most people didn't die unless they were really close to the explosions, but that everybody
That
has
feels like a retcon to me because
Yeah,
when it
yes.
happened, they're like, the whole planet is dead. And they're like, okay, one little city died, but the majority are
well,
alive.
it's like anywhere there was bombs, people died.
By the way,
Or
this-
anywhere there's like a structure.
this issue, the only note I wrote was, for as ludicrous as this issue is, the art is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
That's like, I was like, this issue is insane, but my God, it's beautiful to look at.
So Luke is not excited to be here because he's here to tell them that Kiro's dead. But then some Nagai are on a piece of wreckage full of bodies with Iskalonians on there. They notice that there's a ship, but they're not worried about it. They talk about how they massacred the Iskalonians and how they've been getting more resistance the more they've taken over. And then a shadow shows up. And underwater, the school of Iskalonians are noticing a disturbance on the surface. So good old Moan, our buddy, heads up to find out what's happening. He's pleased to find that Lando and Luke are on the surface. The two are standing by the bodies of the Nagai on the wreckage, and we're afraid that Moan might not be around anymore because they saw so many dead people. And they're like, oh, thank God you're here. So we learn that there's a seahorse lady whose name is Diana Francis, which makes no sense to me. I don't know why they got that name. I don't know why they need to give her two names. First and last name, Diana Francis. There's probably one who lives on this street in Los Angeles where we are. Moan thanks the rebels for dealing with the Nagai, but they tell them they found them like this. Diana Francis says that their people were protected and avenged by him. Some kind of him, like Bay. Luke and Lando tell Moan about Kiro's death, but he's like, Kiro's not dead. I've seen him. He's here. And
He's whipping ass.
Yeah, and then the guy showed up and started taking over the world and enslaving people when the Iskalonians needed him the most. Kiro, the exile, the ghost of Tsushima, returned and started saving people. In the Nagai Tower, the Nagai are trying to figure out about the craft that just came into their airspace, but they don't know where it came from. So they send out a party of hunters with these like new weapons that are really good against Iskalonians. Do we even learn what those are?
No.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of times they
This issue's
don't have time to
ridiculous.
go into anything. They just say like,
Yeah.
oh, this is really good.
Yeah, this is cool that we're
They're
doing
electric based and obviously Iskalonians
There was a really
water.
good fight that just happened right now. On the surface,
So sick,
Yeah,
dude.
on the surface, Moan
Did you just
asks,
Pokemon them?
Yeah.
Like, well, but they're water-based electricity is what you got to use.
That's more
Yeah.
thought than they put in this fucking
Zapdos.
planet.
I have a Zapdos. They're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
On the surface, Moan asks Luke and Lando for their help with freeing the enslaved and driving back the Nagai. And the moment they agree, the Nagai reach the surface and they start attacking. Diana Francis takes the rest of the Iskalonians back to the depths while the rebels fight the attackers. And the Nagai's weapons are sonic weapons, so I guess that's what it is. And the sound is like taking people out. And the stormtroopers come in and get them all in one big net.
It's just weird because underwater sound is like famously pretty muted.
Yeah. Well,
So,
no,
like-
it travels better
I
underwater.
mean, isn't it like when
Really?
they
How
do?
come when we like scream underwater, you like can't hear it or like?
How did James Cameron hear that submarine explode with all those people in it?
yeah, isn't
he
it
had,
like
like-
a?
Tech.
He was
If you have
listening,
like
bro.
a sub,
How did he know immediately? Like they're dead.
but isn't it like if you have a submarine, like a big sub, and you have the divers outside of it, you don't ping because if you ping, it'll kill them.
It'll like shake the water. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
oh,
like,
then maybe I don't know shit.
you'll do like a sonic ping. Basically, you sonic ping, and
Sonic ping.
And if they're right next to the ship while it gets pinged, basically like they just like die, just like instantly die.
Shreds them.
How many times did we do that before we learned?
We do that all the time with dolphins and whales and stuff. If they're near ships and ships are doing sonar, like active sonar, we mess up animals all the time.
We're not tight.
We are not.
No, we are not. But anyway, the Nagai recognize Luke and Lando, sentence them to death because of what they've already done, and then some crazy guy comes out and sentences them to death, like Batman from Batman, the Batman. I am vengeance. And it's the spirit of Iskalon, and it's Kiro who takes down the Nagai and like with blood and goes in the water, and Luke can't even talk to him. And Lando and Luke are like still getting fucked by the sonic weapons and discuss how they need Kiro's help to rescue Moan and the other Iskalonians captured by the Nagai. And Lando is like, we got to be fast because the school, like, they don't have a will, so they might die instead of being slaves. So if Moan and Diana die, then they'll like all kill themselves. So we better get suited up and not
by the
fuck
way,
up.
what was this issue? This issue was called like Schoolhouse Rock or something.
It's called School Spirit.
That's it. School
They
Spirit.
have so much school spirit.
Ugh.
Be true to your school.
The minute I read that, I was like, oh
my
'cause
God.
fish. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So they get to the underwater tower. They start beating the shit out of the tower. Lando starts getting worried about the Chiaki attacking those like weird snake things. But he's like, no, look at him. And they're like,
I love those guys.
like,
those
who,
dudes.
us?
They're like, they already ate so
we're so
much.
tired,
Yeah.
dude. No, we're good.
Like,
And Luke's like, oh, I guess they're just like too fucked up from the violence. All right, well, don't bother them.
Are they?
Yeah, and then the guys show up.
Oh, I thought it was because they ate a bunch.
Yeah, I don't know. He said they're sated with all the violence.
When, like, the funniest thing is, like, when I went to, like, Africa, like, 10 years ago at this point, went on safari, and you see, like, the lions, like, after they eat, they're just, like, they're, like, napping next to the car. They're, like, they don't even, like, get up for you. They're, like,
That's what I would do.
like, they're like, oh, dude, I ate so much.
That's
and
me,
that's
dude.
how I feel when somebody waves a cheeseburger in front of my face. You know?
I gotta eat that gun.
I'm gonna get a cheeseburger and eat it.
I'm
right
saying
after
if
this. I'm gonna
cheeseburgers were
blow
guns
my face
and
off.
I was at the OK Corral, it would have been a different movie.
If Tombstone was cheeseburger based,
It would have been the movie Good Burger.
And I was there.
Davis would
No
like,
one's that would not make it in the history book.
Davis would have rolled up with a cheeseburger like, I'll be your Huckleberry.
when Ed shot down all the members of Mondo Burger
I'm
at
your
the OK
Huckleberry.
Corral. So the sea monsters aren't hungry. A few Nagai show up. Kiro gets them before they can even get close. He feeds them to the Chiaki. Luke tries to talk to him, but there's no time. They have to help Mona and Diana Francis. Kiro leaves Luke and Lando to the tower while he goes to search. Luke wants to go after him. Lando says he'll be fine. He's going to do it on his own. Somewhere in the tower, the Nagai are struggling to get Mona and the Iskalonians to listen, since they only listen to like the school spirit. When the Nagai decides that means they must want to die, Kiro appears and takes him out. And suddenly the Nagai shoots Kiro in the neck. Luke's like, no! Kills the Nagai. Luke's like, nobody else needs to die. Hold on. And it like the whole tower they're in falls down. And then on one of the floating pieces of wreckage, Luke is like chilling with everybody else, talking about the hold of the Nagai being broken over the world. But they may not have gone too far away. And if they show up, the Iskalonians are going to be ready to ask the Alliance for help. And I guess they've like earned back the confidence of the Iskalonians, who were kind of low on them after a while. Diana Francis asks Luke why he's sad, and he tells her he hasn't seen Kiro, who got shot straight in the heart since the tower
It's like
fell.
he's dead.
And Luke's watching the sunset, and then Kiro shows up, and he's like, I moved to the side and only looked like I got shot in the heart.
Also, I'm gonna let everyone think that I'm dead. Also, Danny, let her know that I'm dead. I'm super dead.
Even if she's in a dark place and could easily be remedied by...
Like, don't worry about it. I'm super
just
dead.
don't tell her
I
I'm
don't
alive.
understand his plan of being like, let everyone know that I'm dead. I will be the Dark Knight for this play. Basically, he's gonna be Batman.
the hero they deserve.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I love that I just write my thoughts right down after, because I can clearly track my like giving up on like hoping that we're gonna hit the highs of the last one, because
Yeah.
I was like, not the continuation I was hoping for. Did not love the art style. Iskalon is not a cool place to visit. Like every Iskalon story, I'm like, these are the dumbest. This is not a well thought out. The
Yes.
idea of like, well, oh, also, what is it? I guess Monet had a change of heart after he got laid. Do you remember that, like, he was the free-loving guy, and then after the thing, he's like, never come here again! And then he's like, I had sex, so welcome back.
Good, yeah. Nice
But
to see.
also, if a couple of me die now if a couple of me die, we all die. Before?
No, but it's him. It's him and
But
Diana
school
Francis.
spirit.
It's him
Yeah,
and Diana Francis.
He loves Diana Francis.
She's the fucking Yoko Ono of the Iskalon world,
Oh my
dude.
God.
And I won't take it back.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
Oh my God. I love Yoko Ono.
Well, we're different people.
Yeah.
What I think about it with some time, I was really hoping for like a cool part 2 to his like duel and the whatever, because he's like, I don't know how I got here. Shut up about it. I'm never going to tell you how I got here.
Yes.
What I thought the implication is he is a like force ghost protector because it's school spirit.
Yes, I thought that's what it was.
Like,
no, it's just him.
well, and he was like, it's dumb because they don't give you enough information to go either way, and they never talk about it again. But like, he was like, oh, I just dodged out of the way. I'm like, or you're just a force ghost, so like, you can't get killed.
That's Ryan
Did
Johnson's
he
idea.
actually leave a derelict planet on what? He had no more aren't like, it doesn't make sense that he's real and got there. There's no other option besides he is a Force ghost.
Unless he just has a ship.
He wants everyone to think he's dead, and you fell for it.
Wasn't the whole point that like that planet was destroyed? They sent a rebel group. They're all fucking dead. The Nagai were there, and they're the only ones that
you
were there.
clocked it correctly.
Do you remember that one time when Captain America got sniped in the heart on live television, and then he just was alive?
Wasn't he shot with a time travel bullet?
Yeah. He tried to flip his hat around, and he got nosed.
He got
his nose caught on his fucking the back of his hat.
I really don't like.
You got KK.
Oh my god, I'm a very sensitive person. Nose stuff, like obviously, look, I swabbed my nose during the COVID era,
He's like an alligator,
would,
dude.
But that was like after that, I would be like, I need to lay down and like have tea. That was traumatic for me. That was really not cool. What happened right there? But what were we talking about?
Issue number 103 is called Tie.
God, if I had that morning fucking one.
Hilda, the person who writes our scripts, is hilarious because the first line of this outline is Den Siva is in his den. So winning points for Hilda, patreon.com.
He's in there being
What I love
horny
about Hilda,
for Danny.
and I don't want to say like hashtag not all Scandinavians, but they are very generally matter of fact. And I love that her notes, like mine are just like, I'm just purely rage dumping or like hype dumping. She's like, nope. I'm going to just plot the course. This is what happened.
Yep.
I accept what happens, and I'm not here to editorialize. I'm here to tell you what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bless you, Hilda.
But like literally, Den is just like holograph horny.
Yes, he's looking at a hollow of Danny in his den. He's looking at a den hollow of Danny in his den.
No, Den is in his den looking at a hollow of Danny in his den.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like
he's,
we haven't all
And he's
been
thinking about the fun time he had
That's
torturing
me when I
her.
read these. Yeah.
He remembers when he was torturing her. He gets called down by Knife, who's about to begin.
Oh, she was so good at being tortured.
Yeah, he's about to interview a prisoner from
She
the
was
Alliance.
frozen like she was in Tron, being
Den's like, is it a Zeltron? And they're like, what? And he's like, never mind. Den enters the room. He notes he's glad to see Knife recovered from his wound. Knife sharpens his blade, stresses out his prisoner. They discuss a missing squadron that went to a planet that was believed to be dead. But an enemy unexpectedly appeared, and they were never heard from again. And Knife asks if they were Alliance, but Den says no, they were the old enemy, which was exciting. And then Leia and her, you're supposed to be like, who's the old enemy?
the bones of their whole thing is tight.
Yeah, it's
It's
cool.
just when you add the muscle and the.
I thought it was
I don't remember
the
school
Empire.
stuff, but the rest of whatever a body's made up of, besides bones,
I mean, it's the same
it's the toffs.
kind of lore dumping that they do in new Star Wars, even in the old, which was like right now when you talk about like the Chiss, right? In new current Star Wars, their whole thing is like we operate in one part of the galaxy and it's like messed up over there. We have our own enemies and our own problems. And the Emperor's like, all of my plans are actually because there's something even worse out there and I'm trying to save the And it's like, okay, but what? Well, we'll never tell you ever. Don't worry about it.
Literally never tell
Yeah,
you.
we'll never let you know. It's like, okay.
Have you seen Ahsoka? Have you?
I have.
Okay, are you excited for the next season of Ahsoka?
I don't know.
Please watch Mandalorian and Grogu available.
But that's and this is the same vibe where it's like you'll never find out exactly what they're talking about. But then like, could it be the Vong? You know, like you can just pull that thread.
What if it is?
It is exciting, like what you were talking about on the Insider about last time about like Indiana Jones and like the Chronicles about like with TV and that kind of stuff. You need to like give a reason to come back and hypeness.
between. You got to
That
talk about it. Yeah.
stuff is
Yeah.
like
What's gonna happen?
Your
Yeah.
the idea of like this other thing is cool. It's just that when they're like conquistador pirates that are green and they're like they use clubs, and you're like,
What?
These guys? What the clowns?
It's
What the
cool.
hell?
It's cool. It's cool.
No.
It's just
That
they
first
don't,
image was very cool,
They
and
don't
I
have
love
enough.
that.
They don't have enough
Because
time
it's
to
so
develop the culture.
alien. It's so like even the art style is like the whole thing seems different. Even though you're like
Yeah.
you're wearing like fatigues, you're wearing like.
They had to henchmanize them instead of like make them a characterized group because they only
If
had
you look
like.
at the pictures back to back, and I'll maybe if I remember, I'll put them as the art in one of the things. You're like, oh, those are two different people, except for they're green.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's clearly the same species. It's just that like it started off as like a really high concept, well designed version of. I got the book right there.
They just look so.
Yeah.
The first version of them, I was immediately inspired. Like, oh my god,
Yeah. Yes.
those guys are incredible
Yes.
looking. I love them.
I agree.
And then the next time we see them, they're literally Hulk kids in like Musketeer cosplay.
Yeah, they're like
They're
simple.
like
they like simplified
foreign-
the look to.
They're like foreign in a way that doesn't look so crazy. Like they're like different.
if I had
In the
to
way
guess,
that like the ships for the Nagai are like different looking to be like, wow, this is like
Yeah.
from a different place. And then then they're just back to like, what's another thing from Earth you know, but slightly changed.
I don't think they intended to get rid of these guys like in 2 issues. Like I think originally they were going to like build these guys up and have them be like a new big bad. But I think that
Sure.
But I think that
But again, they like hint, but they don't deliver anything. That's like the biggest
no,
problem.
exactly right. It ends up being kind of like played for the bit that they're pirates more than for like a cool idea. But it felt like originally maybe it was cool. Like I'm looking at the pirate ships.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the idea of it being like suggestive of a pirate ship, but actually, if you look at it, still looking completely alien, right? To me, that is the power of that first image of the Toffs in that one flashback where it shows them, is because it's giving space pirate, and you're like, oh, what a cool aesthetic, but you're not like looking at the jacket and like seeing like the fucking the big buttonholes and the big.
And then suddenly they show up, and that's exactly who they are.
And then it turns out they didn't have the time to like build them out, and they just did the Party City version instead.
I just don't understand. Like
Yeah.
they did. There was a whole image of them.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were pretty built out.
Yeah.
And then they show up in the next issue or whatever, and it's like, oh,
I just felt like they just
Okay.
decided to bail on them because they didn't.
yeah, what a disappointment.
So Leia and her Zeltrons are flying through the Tren system, thinking it's a dead system and that it's the safest way to get back to Zeltros, except that they manage to get caught up in a battle. And one of the Zeltrons asks who the enemy ships are, since he didn't recognize the ones that weren't the Nagais. And Leia says that the Nagai might have brought some enemies of their own into the system, which is the first time we think, oh, maybe it's like from an outside galaxy. So Leia's taking recon on her own, and she turns around and sees an
Just
armed...
real quick, as if it's in this. So here he looks like what's his face from Street Fighter.
He looks like-
who's the guy that Goku, or like I don't know, Goken
Goken,
or whatever.
yeah.
And then in the same issue, this is the shot of them where they're like, they are not fucking pirates, dude. They are like,
I mean, they are. They're just like also like Afghan style refugees. They're also like revolutionaries. They're also
I literally
like
wrote about that one
Greek
image.
philosophers.
I wrote
later
down,
on though, then they get the like whatever you think of like as Jack Sparrow, whatever that
Yes.
style of stuff. Like their clothes totally change.
Yeah,
I wrote down, these are my boys. This is the hardest image we've had in this series so far. I don't care what anyone says. I stand by that. That
dude,
image rocks.
He looks like Cyclops' dad. What's his name? Corsair. The dude with the red, the star.
He looks like how I want to look in real life.
Yeah, the star.
I love that guy. Is awesome looking.
I forget what they're called, but the Star Wars, the Guardians of the
Beards
Galaxy.
do have such subs like
Yes.
You're like,
It's
I
so
wanna just run
funny.
my hands. I don't want to be weird about it, but if you had them, I would just run my hands through
The
them.
idea of a species,
no weirdsies.
The idea of like space.
If you were a burger, I would eat you.
I think
those
they're
are burgers,
space.
though, I would eat them.
I think they're kind of space dwarves.
That's
too.
like a 4x4.
They have a space dwarf vibe,
'Cause they-
especially but they have like space Viking.
But they
space-
are significantly
They're like
more
portly.
massive than the Zeltrons in this.
Yeah, they're portly. They have big beards. They look like Elden
They're
Ring.
like dwarves if dwarves were
tall.
like sized up to be taller than
Yeah.
like
It literally they're Thor from God of War.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
exact vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Leia's taking recon on her own. She turns around. She sees an armed guy pointing their weapon at her. He collapses before he's able to shoot. So Leia decides to take him prisoner and heal him so that she can interrogate him. And he wakes up on the ship surrounded by Leia and the Zeltrons. And he doesn't really speak to them. They think maybe he's a lower rank guy who doesn't speak standard. And Leia and a Zeltron are on a lookout with binoculars to see what the Nagai's enemies are up to. And we see the prisoner try to get up and spot a gun. And in the evening, the group's discussing the prisoner's hostility or whether he's going to hurt them or what. And he's like, all right, I'm sorry, Leia's like, okay, we're going to just lock all the guns and communicators up. And then she goes over to bring him food. And he doesn't respond, and then she walks away, and he grabs her and holds her in a headlock, and the Zeltrons see it, and they try to help her, and Leia bites him in the arm, and he lets her go, and they get his ass, and he's very strong, but the Zeltrons subdue him, And when another brings out a rope, this immediately like causes like a trauma response in the guy, and panics, and he starts sniveling and begging, and it drives the Zeltrons crazy. But Leia's like, leave him alone. And he's still whining, and the group's like, what happened to him? Why is he so scared of ropes? And the Zeltrons don't understand that he's got like prisoner fear. And so that's what Leia is like, kind of like, Leia's like, you guys have like privilege from being from like San Diego in space. Like you need to like,
You guys are like
yeah.
Zeltronian shore
Yeah,
boys.
you need to like chill out and understand that some people have been tortured. And you see that scene that they just were talking about, where you see the Toph captain for the first time, and he's like a shirtless, like I don't even. He looks crazy, and
He's like in a Street
he
Fighter
looks like
pose.
a wizard. Yeah, and Leia's fed up with the whining. He decides to cut him loose, and he's apprehensive, but she like wipes his eyes, and he holds her and bows, and we see this page, and the prisoner's face is in the middle, and we see what's going on the next couple days. Leia thinks he's healing pretty good. Zeltrons have found what they need to be fixed on the ship. Leia thinks about how the prisoner hasn't tried anything, but wonders why he's looking at her all the time. And they're like, he loves you. And the Zeltrons spot the enemy moving out, and Leia's glad because they're going to leave and yada yada. And they see the enemy walking through the streets, shooting down any Nagai that they were still holding prisoner, and laughing. These are the Tophs, the like dwarf space guys. John tells the Nagai an anecdote about Zeltron. And the Nagai is like silent, but he like doesn't seem like he's having a bad time. And the Zeltrons are making fun of each other, and they're finally ready to take off after a while. And Leia tells the prisoner to leave, and like go on, get out of here, get. And she tells him she should have taken him prisoner, but she felt too bad, and he's not moving. And he starts saying, "Tai, Tai, I'm Tai, 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 Tai," and he holds her face, and she leaves. She leaves him his gear, and they take off. And Knife is giving Den instructions on the bridge of a ship somewhere else to invade Zeltros, which is crazy. It seems like that's going to be our big conflict. And then Wing Leader Tai appears, and it's revealed that Wing Leader Tai is Tai, the Nagai from earlier. And he tells Knife and Den about how he survived the Battle of Treneth with the help of 4 civilians and an Alliance officer who healed him and stuff. And then they are like, and you accepted their mercy just so you could live, and they just throw a knife into his heart and kill him.
Immediately kill him. That's the last thing for this issue, is just his dead ass on the ground.
Dude,
Bodied.
a couple things. One, we got back to like Cynthia, which I was like, man, it's all written by the art really goes a long way to making it feel more contemporary, more mature, like than the old art style.
Big time.
This is like, at this point now, in the year of our Lord 2026, this is the exact formula for a bottle episode in a show where there's a conflict, where you have like a quiet episode where a person from one side realizes the foot soldiers of each side is not the problem. And it even has like a little twist where one of them dies in the end. But like, aside from that, now we've seen this done in like every Star Trek has like several of these.
Especially Deep Space Nine, yeah.
Deep Space Nine does it. They did it with even Brave New, like literally every Star Trek has this. But they did a good job. The Zeltronians were like brought down to being like,
They became like
either
fully fledged characters.
inoculated slightly to them, or I think they just like, they were like, all right, it's not just about them like being horny boys. Now there's like there's like plot to do, and they get to kind of be fun. Their like silliness is hilarious because they get their asses beat.
Yes.
A lot. They're all like, jump them. And they get like, this is not the only time. This
Like
isn't the
3
worst.
times.
One time a guy gets his ass beat so bad, they're like, he's not like moving. You know, like, it's like,
Is he good?
I think he's fine, but they're like, he's going to die. Like, you fucked him up. And they're like, oh, we have Mace, and we're pirate, but we're also the greatest threat to galaxy? Toffs. Sorry, I really don't like the Toffs. I just want that to come through. But yeah, I don't know. This was like rad, and I got excited again. And then you flip the page one time, and you're like, no, the French bugs!
I love the French bugs, dude.
The minute I read the title, I was like, this is gonna suck. This is gonna suck so bad. Nagais and dolls.
Nagais and dolls, dude.
Nagais and dolls.
Nagais
bro.
and Nagais
I
and
was
dolls.
out.
105,
I was out from
104.
moment 1.
Dude, after this, because there's the next one is like My Hiromi, and I was like, is this what I'm like when I just try to do puns all the time? Like,
Yes.
I'm like Elmo, and these titles are Rocco. Like, at a certain point,
Yes.
I'm like, I get it. Enough.
It's just
Stop
fun.
it.
It's just fun. We're having a good time over here.
Are we?
Yeah. Luke and Lando have just landed on Zeltron. They're swarmed and bombarded with many
This is
Zeltron
a real
ladies.
swanky party, and I'm Luke Skywalker
Sometimes you
today.
gotta have good times in space sometimes. And the Zeltrons come up and like absolutely smother Luke and Lando. Luke asks them to take them to the leader. Leia also shows up with John, Mark, Rahul, and Bob.
Before that, though, I have to mention this line. The girls approach Lando and they're like, Luke's our friend. Do you want to be our friend too? And Lando's response is, absolutely.
Absolutely,
And I
I
was
do.
like,
He's
my
like,
man.
100% I do.
Lando is unimpeachably Lando.
Yes.
Like, he's great.
Yeah.
There's no like weirdness. Like Lando
I love
is
Lando.
Every time, throughout every issue, doesn't matter who writes it or what he
love
looks
Lando.
like, Lando
Yeah.
consistently is amazing.
The Zeltron boys are now protective of Leia, and it's like working out for her because she doesn't really like Zeltrons, but she likes her Zeltrons well enough. And so it works out.
It is hilarious where they're like, she's got enough Zeltrons.
Yeah,
Thank
back
you.
up, Zeltrons.
Thank you.
We're the Zeltrons.
Thank you.
The Millennium Falcon has Han, Chewie, Danny, Pliff, the Hoojibs, and the droids. They come out of hyperspace near Zeltros. Han's asking for a little bit of appreciation from Danny, but after the torturing from Den Siva and the fact that her boyfriend died, she's like not hype anymore. She's not a happy person. She's like war damaged. And the crew tries to cheer her up, but the actions of the Nagai have changed her.
Danny's like, I'm going to find Dan.
Yeah, she's
I swear to God, I'm going to kill him.
She's determined to
like
convince the
that.
rulers of Zeltros that they should enter the war and exterminate the Nagai, which is crazy.
I guess like if we're playing like these races have like very specific emotions, like the sort of bipolar intense switch of her being like, I love life and everything's free, and like the first time that she feels like the realness of the universe being like, I have to kill, like you took my spark.
Right.
She heard Han in that first issue and was like, I will destroy this planet. She's like, that's a good idea.
I must destroy this planet. This is Leia. I'm ready to kill. Somewhere not far, Den's ship has registered the Falcon landing on Zeltros and prepares to land his fleet discreetly with their masking devices on, as they say. They notice some other ships but aren't worried because they're too small to be anything but trading vessels or pleasure craft, but of course we know that's not the case. The leader of the Zeltrons is Leone and Arno, and they're receiving their beautiful, swarmed by Zeltrons visitors, and they think the occasion calls for a party. Lando's like, can't we just tell you why we've come? And they're like, oh, okay. And
This bit is, if you're accepting the absurdity of the universe, the idea that they're like, no, we have to have a welcome party for you, and then like an inauguration party, and then we'll have the announcement party. Like, I
Han
get it.
shows
If that-
up.
You're like, okay.
Han shows up and Leia kisses him on the mouth, and the Zeltrons are like, oh. They love it. Everyone's there. The gang explain the remnants of the Empire have allied themselves with the Nagai. Leia mentions that she met a Nagai that wasn't as bad, and she figured out maybe some way that they can come to some like diplomatic, like common ground. And Danny is not down for this. She says they should all be killed, which is crazy. And then Vertog, the royal governor of the northern province, arrives, and Leia's four Zeltrons peace out because they banged his 5 daughters right before they left the planet. And so
This is a hilarious. I forget like if that means anything or if it was just an excuse to get them away. But it's
funny.
the fuckboys being like, we have to get scarce right now.
Yeah, we
like,
gotta get out of here. We have actually we have history on our planet. Like, this is the planet of fuckboys, and we're actually nice boys. Leia tries to talk Danny down as they're making decisions for all the people in the free galaxy now, because revenge should not motivate that type of decision. But Danny claims those free people won't be free for very long unless all the Nagai are dead. And so the leaders of the Zeltrons decide to leave the party and leave and go to the party. They're like, you guys have some shit to work out. So tell you what, you guys can come talk to us whenever you want to talk to us. That is all good. And see you later. And so Luke and Han ask if they need to help Leia, but she says she wants to go talk to Danny by herself. Danny does not feel like talking, though, and because she feels the Nagai are her enemy and that they're Leia's enemy. And Leia's like, I think I know why they had to leave. And Danny's like, no, they're evil, but honestly, I just miss Kiro. And she has like weird dreams. And she thinks of Den Siva all the time in her nightmares, and he walks out of the shadows right at that time holding a blaster, and Dany tells Leia to go get help, and Den says that's a good idea since they have much to discuss. And Leia walks up the stairs, and Den knocks out Dany, and another Nagai appears and shoots Leia in the chest, and she falls down too, and they're all dead, and that's it for Princess Leia in the Star Wars universe. Luke and Hoojibs...
Curtains.
Yeah, that's it for her. Luke and the Hoojibs are taking a stroll. The Hoojibs wonder if Dany and Leia will be okay, but Luke's like, they'll be fine. Pliff notes that the Zeltrons are extraordinarily fond of Luke and Leia noticed it too, and doesn't know why, but they just are fine with it. And as Pliff is telling Luke, the Hoojibs have been able to observe the Nagai, since to them, the Nagai think the Hoojibs are like animals or pets. Luke hears a voice.
It's kind of like everybody.
Right. Luke hears a voice in the bushes ordering Ensign Phoebe to capture King Arno and Queen Leone, and Luke goes to check it out, and you meet Herog again, the same guy who was Akbar's attaché. The French mantis revolutionary. Luke questions him. He and Pliff.
Luke, this isn't where I parked my. I was trying to do French, but that does not come out as French.
I don't know what that
where
was.
I parked my spaceship. I don't.
And then he gets.
He's like from New York. There,
I don't do accents.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's me. Baguette over here. Come on now. Hey, fucking, I eat snails, bitch.
What do you guys think of my gift, the old Statue of Liberty? Pretty nice, huh? Look at those cans.
From now on,
what do you want me to do?
you
Cans?
guys are
Get
gonna
it?
talk
France?
just like us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I lost the plot.
From now on,
I'm a bug, man. What do you want from me?
you're all gonna sound like us now in New York
Cans
City.
is France, right?
What?
Why don't I just
Cans?
I need to
Yes.
I need to just have confidence in my.
Yes.
Are you talking about Ken?
Get it? I was doing it like talking about the cans of the Statue of
he
Liberty,
was
which
trying
is a
to do
French
the
gift, but then I'm
boobs
like,
on the
but
Statue
get
of
it?
Liberty.
It's also a
Which
pun.
his favorite part of the Statue of Liberty is the boobs.
I'm
Obviously.
like, that statue with the big ass
With
titties.
the
Thank
huge
you.
knockers.
So it turns out to be the Mantis Commando Herog, who is one of the Hiromis. And as Luke questions him, he and Pliff get surrounded by more Hiromis, and Pliff suggests doing something, but Luke's like, honestly, I could kill all these guys. Let's just see where this is going. It's pretty funny. Han and Lando and the droids. I love ineffectual henchmen. I get that sometimes people don't like to laugh when they're watching Star Wars, but I love shitty henchmen. They make me laugh always. And the fact that these ones are all in striped shirts and berets and they're mantises.
Just so goofy.
It's just like
so funny.
for me, I get when we're doing comedy sometimes, but they took it seriously for a bit and it all changed and I was like, yes. And even in those, they still had humor differently. And then we're like back, these guys get like a 3-part. You're like, oh, this is the rest of the
They can write them so
God
much. They can write them
damn.
so much because they're never going to be in Rush
and
Hour
they were
3.
with the fucking Lasbies and the Ewoks, and I'm like, dude.
All the guys that nobody's going to touch, bro.
But I get like Joe Duff, like they were talking about in the other stuff where it's like it was important to her to like have all of Star Wars, and I've said that like reading all this stuff and being in the Protoverse has given me a more tempered response to all the zaniness in the current Star Wars. And like before I was like, okay, I get it's all weird in Mandalorian because you have to take like the prequel era nonsense. But I guess like even as early as still in the 80s, they have like the boo boo baby comedy and then like they have more serious stuff. And I don't know.
It makes me laugh.
You didn't like when all the bugs were like, yeah, we're so excited to be bugs.
If like
The scene-
I want to see Wes Anderson direct a movie with these guys and like them and Luke going on this adventure, I would think it would be
The
hilarious.
scene with
But
them
after
eating
I'm
the
desperately
food,
trying to get the sickness that I just saw back again, I'm like, no.
the scene where they're eating spaghetti and like submarine sandwiches
dude.
is so funny.
This is like Chappie. You guys remember the movie Chappie?
yes,
Where I'm like,
yes.
the beginning, I'm like, wait, no, it's about the dumb idiots. No. What about the social commentary and the cool action and the other stuff? Okay.
No.
Okay. I guess it's the French bugs.
Chappie's pretty good, guys. In the crowd, Ensign Phoebe is preparing to capture the king and queen, who are like wasted. And the Zeltrons are trying to seduce the droids. Shit's going wild. Luke, Pliff, and Hiromi are arriving at the throne room, and the commander sits down upon the vacant throne, and they decide that they are now the king. And they decide, what's the first thing? And he goes, let's get lunch, yay! And they all go get
They're
lunch.
so excited. They're like,
And,
yeah.
and Luke's like, do you think you're in danger? Or Pliff's like, do you think they're in danger yet? And Luke's like, nah, I think we're okay. Then the guys show up armed at the party. They're holding everybody prisoner. Han tries to like draw down, but his gun gets shot out of his hand in like 2 seconds. And then Chewie picks up Han, who's like a little bit messed up by getting shot. Everybody in the party's concerned. The Hiromi are annoyed that they're captured and that their prisoners are now prisoner. Like they got taken prisoner by their own prisoners or something, kind of. Leia's 4 boys are watching everything unfold from a window. They decide to go get help from Leia or Luke. They walk off, and a well-dressed leg appears in front of them.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's like the dandiest little shoe.
It's like the vampire Lestat took 1 step behind them.
The guy in Pocahontas that's the like has the pug or like whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's his shoe.
No. Ratcliffe. Lord
Yes,
Ratcliffe. In the kitchen, the Hiromi are grabbing
name.
their lunch. And Luke and Pliff are enjoying watching how much they enjoy their work. The Hiromi are having a great time with their victory, but then a person outside the door tells them that everybody inside the door is now a prisoner. And they're eating like New York City deli food, and it's just so...
They're eating just noodles with butter, like my 4-year-old nieces, and then like a like this is not even like blue. Like, is that like a mixer, like a juicer in the back? Like it's all is an espresso machine. It's like I get it. This is part of Star Wars. This is canonical, I guess. But it's like,
It's a good bit.
God damn, this is some clown shit.
It's a good bit. Clown shit's good.
I wrote, this is Looney Tunes is what I wrote.
Yeah. Yeah, like, like in like Venture Brothers when like the henchmen are like, oh, God.
And the
this
worst part is
sucks."
when in the middle of clown shit, it's like next. There's a whole other.
Yeah, more
this
of
is
it,
a
more to
three-parter.
come.
This is where we want to put our time.
Yeah.
I just
Star
want
Wars-
to stress. Hold on, let me see if I can show you this exact what I wrote. More of these bugs! Exclamation point! Exclamation point!
You're
I
like,
was
please,
just-
more bugs.
I was just so over it the minute I saw them, and the
stop
fact that they kept coming. I was like, no.
begging the waiter for more bugs. Star Wars 105, the party's over. The Hiromi in the kitchen are filling up their tummies, admiring the quality of the food, discussing how the rest of the free planets will also fall prey to their might. Luke and Pliff are having a thought conversation about these clowns, and a person outside the door tells them everyone inside is now a prisoner. The Hiromi are shaken since they're the ones with the prisoners here, and then Luke starts to notice that whoever's outside is an unfamiliar race to him, and a big boot kicks in the door, and a bunch of green dudes come in, and one of them grabs Hirog and asks him what he is, and he explains he's a Hiromi. First he says, I'm Hirog, and he's like, no, what are all of you? And he's like, Hiromi. And he says, I've seen a bunch of these guys slipping out the back, and Pliff's like, these are the Toffs. These are the enemies of the Nagai from their home galaxy, and their thoughts are revolting. So they're bad people. And in the party zone, the rebels and everybody else are being held at gunpoint by the Nagai and the Maccabees, who are back. And the Nagai are threatening Han not to touch a blaster and tells him there's a squadron rounding up any other allies who might be on the planet. The party Nagai check in with Den Siva, who has Leia and Danny captive, and he tells them no other Alliance personnel seem to be around. And then the Nagai at the party, Harmon, asks Den if they'll meet at the rendezvous point, but Den says he'll join them in due time. And then Den tells the Toffs he has given Harmon their orders, revealing that Den is working with the Toffs, and the Toffs are satisfied. The Alliance of Free Planets means nothing to them. All they want is a few Zeltrons. They call Danny a little red native. Oops. And all of the Nagai. Another group of Toffs bring in Leia's band of boys who are extremely ready to scrap. The leader of the Toffs instructs his people to kill them, but Leia makes up a lie about them being important for the fight against the Nagai, which saves them. And then the Toff tells Den to lead his men to the rendezvous spot and trick his friends into an ambush, his own Nagai friends. And Den's like, no, what the fuck? And then he's like, well, I'll kill Danny then. And he's like, fucking fine. I'll make the call. And then the Hoojibs enter the scene, and they like pretend to be like wild rabbits, and they like scatter around. And the Toff think they're vermin, and they start using them as target practice. But then after a while, they're just like annoying, and they keep missing them because they're so fast. So they just stop paying attention to them.
They also are like, it's okay. We're psychic, so they won't ever hit us because we know when they're going to shoot, which is like, cool. So there's no stakes here. And then, the pirates are like, well, I'm bored.
Yeah, and they just leave. And then Pliff gives Leia a status update and asks if there's a plan. And Pliff explains Luke is going to start taking care of action at his end and lets her know the Toff's weapon of choice is a club, as like intel, I guess. One of the Toffs...
I mean, they're pirates.
That's true. They love clubs.
So that's how you take over a universe and enslave a technologically advanced.
I mean, they
Fashion over the head,
they
dude.
have guns.
Unga bunga.
They just like clubs.
They like clubbing.
Now, in this issue and going forward.
Yeah, they have guns, but they like clubs. They wouldn't be caught dead without a club. One of the tops is investigating Luke's inactive lightsaber, but he can't figure out what it is. And another asks what to do with the bugs, and the leader instructs them to kill him, prompting Luke to then activate the saber remotely with the Force, which kills one dude right away. And then the other dude's pissed, and he threatens the Hiromi, but they all point to Luke. They're like, he did it! And he's now untied. He's surrounded by the Hoojibs. The Toffs go after him, but because the Hoojibs are so fast, it like confuses and distracts everybody. One Hoojib gets bonked on the head with a club. Hilda wrote a emoji sad face in the notes for that one. And then in the other room, Pliff and his
Now she editorializes.
Wow.
Yeah, well, she has a slight tone.
She has a soft spot for
She has,
Hoojibs.
she has a slight editorial tone if you look for it.
She's pro Hoojib.
Yeah,
Hoojib.
She's Woojib. Yeah. Patreon.com/SWOCBC, you guys. In the other room, Pliff and his friends have managed to drain all of the Toph blasters. Leia is wondering where Luke is. Pliff gives Leia a sign, and she manages to trip a bunch of the Toph with her legs that are chasing some of the Hoojibs. And her and Danny run off, and the Tophs try to shoot them, but the blasters are empty, so they go for their clubs. And then Luke, Hiromi, and the angriest assortment of little hoppies arrive and capture the Toph. Leia lets Luke know that her Zeltrons were taken captive, and Den Siva was forced to betray the other Nagai, and Danny thinks Den and the other Nagai should just die, but Leia's like, that would also kill every prisoner, including your friends. She finally gives in. And the Hiromi once again celebrate their supremacy by saying yay. And Luke tells them he's happy to know he has such cheerful allies for when he mounts his sneak attack on the Toph command ship, and then the bugs are like, wait, what? And that's the cliffhanger is that
Wait, they'll be back. More bugs.
they're his henchmen, and also they're silly, and also they're gonna help him take over the Toffs. So this next issue takes place like right away. Next one, great cover on this issue, Star Wars 106, My Hiromi, where Danny has like completed her arc now on the cover of this. She's like she's not happy. She's a fully fledged character now.
Honestly, I love not horned up Danny.
Yeah.
Like as a character, them giving her stuff to do in an actual character rather than like, I will sleep with you if that's what you want. Like, okay, cool, girl, but like, what else you got?
Yay.
And I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad something's happening here.
Trauma, it shapes us all. This one, in the stages of grief, I guess, by My Hiromi, based on my notes, the last one, like wrapping up the other two issues, in the moment I wrote things I don't really want to share out loud. I don't really want to be associated with how I thought, but like just was not happy. By this one, I was like, not much to say. I'm super disappointed. But I was like, I guess on one hand, if I have to be fair, at least there weren't fucking lesbies. And so that's now I'm negotiating. Now I'm like,
they already wrapped the lesbies too. Like we it's like the end of the Tiki Room where they say what we just saw. Everybody's here.
I must stress 105, 106, 107. I have exactly 2 notes for each. And each one, like 105, more of these bugs. 106, there are so many bugs. 107, this is insane. Like that's what I was just like,
Oh, my Hiromi.
I was like, I just don't like these last 3 issues.
So I'm bummed that the one that is the 3-parter is the clown one.
Yes. Yes.
I guess we did get a multi-parter sick one last time.
This is supposed to be firing on all cylinders, but it feels like
It's firing on all of their unique things together. So from that aspect, they all seem to love their characters. I get it.
Yeah.
And they are better about acknowledging the different shades of Star Wars and putting them all together. But God damn it. Like, this is it? All the pages of Star Wars you wasted on the fucking bugs being like, they're not even doing new things. They're either this or like, it's the same images.
This is what the end of every canceled comic book series looks like, by the way. Like rarely does a comic book series get canceled and then like it wraps up tight and like gives you like the end that you want when it's a monthly comic book.
Yeah, but it feels weird to be like, we're going to bring back
I'm with you.
the goofiest of goofy characters for this last
But if there was a Hiromi arc that was 3 parts, and then we did another final arc that was just all about the Toffs, it would be cooler. If
I agree. It would have been cooler to at least do something.
But it feels very much like when we get to the end of 107 that there was definitely meant to be at least one or two more issues in there, just because of what parts of the story
It's just
they
an
skip.
insane. Like there was moments where I was like, "Did I read this correctly?"
Well, let's just get through it real quick so that we can like get the structure of it out, because it's not that complicated, and we'll just get through it and then we can talk about it. Yeah, they're celebrating, but then they realize that Luke needs them to attack the next ship, and they're like, "Wait, what? No, yay!" And so the four boy Zeltrons, Jacob, Mark, Bob, and John, are in the dire prison cell. They're not doing well. They go over their happenings since getting home, and John has a plan so they can protect Princess Leia. One of the guards is bringing food to them. The Supreme, which is the name of the Toph leader, instructed they stay healthy and well until he arrives to deal with them himself. When he opens the door, the Zeltrons try to attack him, but the guards are prepared and whack him on the head. And they're like, "Wait, no, we did this because this dude's hurt and we need him." And one of the guards is like, "Wait." But then the other guy's like, "Nah, this is fine. We just need 3 of them. It's okay. Just don't worry about it." And it's like kind of sad because they're like kind of feeling a little bit hopeless in their jail. So there's like a good little scene of them sitting there kind of feeling sad.
It's like the burn is like, look, they said that we need healthy Zeltrons, not how many we
Yeah.
needed, which is like
Classic.
I guess a good burn.
Classic guard shit.
They're drawn differently. Every issue, I forgot that like the last issue or the one before that, the cover was a picture of like Luke fighting them. That is an art style that doesn't exist, and they're just straight up white dudes in pirate outfits.
Yeah.
Fight like the other one, they're like dwarf. They're just I don't know who was in charge of the Toffs.
Yeah.
I guess because it's the end, they're like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
But it's like also like, what are you guys?
I think maybe they bailed on the idea just in case they wanted to like do it later and just did like space pirates instead, because it felt like there was definitely something more there, but I don't know what it was. What am I saying? Okay, yeah. So on Zeltron, Leia and Danny and some Hoojibs have found the Toffs that took Den Siva, and in a moment of weakness, Danny is getting ready to shoot Den, the guy who ruined her life. But a Hoojib talks her down. He betrayed his people to their greatest enemies to save her, and she decides, okay, fine. So Luke, Pliff, and the Hiromi are talking to the Toph they took captive and are trying to get information out of him. And Pliff notes he can't identify any thoughts from the man in their language or his own, just feeling like malicious hostility psychically. So the Hiromi take out their tactic of being confusing silly bugs who apparently love to make people talk and freak the Toph out enough that he tells them everything. And the Hiromi celebrate loudly. I guess they're like amazing at torture, the Hiromi. That's like their thing.
I guess.
Yeah. The Hiromi go, yay!
I don't think they're good at anything.
Well, they're really good at cheering.
I think
They
they're,
love a
they're
good
good
cheer.
at staying away from any actual plot and then like pretending like they nailed it.
They're good at
I don't think
cheering.
they're actually good at. I think that they just think that they do something.
I
and they're
think
like, we're good.
I think they're good at torturing. Like they tortured this dude in like 2 seconds. He's like, "Oh fuck, okay," and Pliff's like, "Be quiet," and then they're like, "Yay!" It's funny. They're like, "Yay!" and he's like, "Shut up," and they're like, "Yay!" And then elsewhere, Han and Lando and the droids are
the Monstars
yes, 100%.
are like them.
The little ones, the
Yeah.
little monsters. Yeah. Han, Lando, and the droids.
That's such an accurate depiction.
Like literally that action, and then this is like looking at their picture. I'm like, oh yeah,
It's money in the bank. These guys, the only thing they missed out on was merch. Elsewhere, Han,
and
Lando,
Michael Jordan.
The best part is when they tried to sneak one of these guys in the like 2019 issue, and they like look so wrong. Anyway,
Just to get killed.
yeah, Han, Lando, and the droids are in a beautiful place, but built in a completely different style than the other Zeltron buildings. And it appears Zeltron just love a bit of extravagant folly to keep things interesting. Suddenly, Lieutenant Siva appears, and then the guy eagerly asks him what the new orders are. He tells them not to load the captives onto the transport ship since they now are prisoners themselves. One of the Toffs clubs him down and the rest down. And now, thinking the Toph are on their side, with them taking out the Nagai, Han goes up to Bargthron, second local Toph honcho, to introduce himself.
Yikes.
But since he's not a Toph, the honcho is not interested and orders to get rid of him.
Bargthron.
Blaster shots suddenly start hitting the Toph from an unknown source. Han and Chewie take the opportunity to take some down too. Lando calls the Zeltrons to help out. 3PO is worried when R2 does some little zaps at Toph. We find out R2-D2 just has a straight-up gun. We see the blasts came from Leia and Danny, and when Han helps them down from their like beast mount thing,
Okay, Lando.
Han. A Nagai appears who's ready to shoot them. He's interrupted by Den Siva, whose actions have irrevocably cut him off from his people and is ready to discuss the terms of his surrender or an alliance now or whatever. Seems like the Nagai and the alliance are teaming up against the Toughs. In space, Han, Pliff, and Hiromi are approaching the Toph command ship in their weird little spider ship. They're using the security code that the Toph gave them, and they're hoping the crew of the ship that size doesn't care about the tiny ship they arrived in. And then Mr. Takei, a nervous Hiromi, who's got to be a Sulu reference.
Yes, for sure.
I was like, you can't. That has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, piloting the ship, and Luke instructs him to blast straight ahead. The blast hitting some surfaces, reflecting right into a window to create an entrance. The Hiromi are like, oh my God, how did we do that? And Luke's like, I am not going to tell them about the Force, which is crazy. The Toph are waiting the ship with blasters, but Luke force fights them all to the ground without any problem. He calls everybody else out of the ship safely. Luke explains that half are going to take out the security systems, the other half are going to go get the Zeltron boys out, the Zeltron boy gang, the Chuba boys. The Hiromi are scared and hesitant about going off without Luke because they are now his children, but he boosts their confidence with a speech about the Hiromi spirit. They're back on board. Yay! As they head on their respective missions, a bunch of Toph appear. Luke starts to take them down, but the Hiromi don't help since it's not their job and they don't want to fight and they're scared. And while the Hiromi look for Leia's Zeltrons, the Hoojibs manage to take down the power. It goes completely dark. The Hiromis get so scared they decide to hold hands, but they still find the cell. And when the Hiromi enter, the Zeltrons start beating them up, doing the same old like guard beat up trick that they do until Luke shows up and tells them that they're friends. And they're like, okay, sorry, we messed that up. Good job rescuing us. That was really cool. Thanks, guys. And they're like, ow, thank you. Luke's like, it's over. But then a big Toph shadow appears in the doorway. Heerog sees this, manages to shoot him down. And Luke tells everyone he planted explosives on the ship, and they leave. And the Hiromi are extremely excited about having killed the Toph, and everybody says yay again.
Yay.
And it's a great issue, maybe the best one in all of the entire Star Wars. And Davis especially liked it.
It's another weird one where, like, these guys are supposed to be the craziest thing. Then they get, like, beaten by clowns.
Yeah.
Like, Luke at one point doesn't even use a saber. He just, like, shit kicks. He, like, is like, let's make it fun, and just, like, beats them with his thing, with his hands.
I legit think they bailed on them being the big bad at the last second.
Yes, yeah.
Except then, we, like, literally the next page is, like, Rambo Luke, and they're at the end, it's, like, post-apocalypse, the Toph War. Like, the Empire, literally, stormtroopers, it's like, we all have to team up against the Toph Empire. You're like, fuck
Yeah, they just skipped to it.
off.
They were gonna do a whole.
They're not cool.
They were gonna do a whole other thing, probably with what's her name, to like bring the Empire into this and get it all going.
I don't know, like, look at, also, I literally thought this was a different era because the art from 1 month to the next
It's
becomes
insane looking. It's
different.
genuinely,
Yeah.
like, Luke, it took me a minute to realize exactly who that was supposed to be.
Yeah, I was
There's
like,
some
what the
parts. There's
fuck?
some parts toward the end where I'm like, is that supposed to be Fenn? Is that supposed to be Bay?
I
Like
don't know.
like,
when he's like shirtless and he has his lightsaber, I was like, what the fuck is this? Anyway,
he also just has a giant gun.
Yeah.
the Hilda, Star Wars 107 all together now, a truly unrecognizable bare-chested He-Man looking ass Luke,
Dude,
is scouting
Hilda-
an area. Scouting an area, senses Knife, who asks why he always knows he's there. Luke tells Knife about the Force. Then Den, Siva, and Danny appear for an unimportant reason because this is an everyone is here moment. So now Han, Leia, and the rest appear.
Leia, who, by the way, now is like reporter by day, soccer mom by night. Like,
Yeah.
she
turned into
is
Mon
different.
Mothma. Yeah.
She's like, is Mon Mothma and Leia fusioned?
Yeah, everybody shows up. Literally everybody shows up. The droids are here. The Nagai are here. Han and Leia have like a little lovers quarrel about how to fight the Nagai, but they
The
decide
like
they need
lady
to
that
trust.
rolls up to your car in the she's part of the crew now too.
She looks like the Jolly BB.
Yeah.
But
Oh, Jolly.
oh, Jolly BB, I miss her.
You just wanted to
I miss
kiss.
Jolly. I'll just kiss him. I won't say nothing. I'll just kiss him. Just kiss his feet.
Akbar does not look okay. He lost something, dude.
Akbar looks like he stayed out of the water a little too long. So Danny and Siva have a little quarrel about how much one loves pain and the other loves beauty, and maybe they'll learn something from each other. And Luke's like, why are you with this guy if you won't meet him halfway? And she's like, I don't love him. I don't like him, but we understand each other.
Something about this issue is Kojima. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like too
any
far
better.
beyond. Yeah.
It's like they're all Kojima somehow.
Death Stranding 1 feels like Death Stranding 6.
Will not respond to that
I don't even know how they do that, but you know what? The magic trick of Death Stranding, though, is that at the end, you're like, I understand everything that's happening, and it's the best story that I've ever experienced.
I don't got to get to the end.
I don't know how that happens.
gotta go to
That's
the
one
end,
of the
though.
craziest experiences of my life was like not knowing anything until 2 hours before the end of the game of Death Stranding, and then just being like, I'm God. I get this.
You got
I know this.
whatever that movie, the Scorsese Catholic in Japan movie.
Yeah. Silence.
Where you're like, damn it.
I know.
Oh, you nailed it, you little bitch.
So Luke thinks about this time that Akbar gave them a high stakes mission in a flashback. Akbar tells everybody to put aside their personal grudges and feelings for the battle to come, and explains that the Toph have set up a base on Saijo, which is a world on the rim of the galaxy where one of the first battles between his people and the Nagai took place. Many, many more bloody battles after that. The planet is now ruled by the crown prince of the Toph, heir to the throne of the entire civilization. And Lando, Chewie, Wedge, and Nien Nub are going to be sent on a subtle and crucial separate mission outside of the landing on Saijo. On Saijo, Knife tells Danny and Den they're pathetic and bizarre and spews some hybrid hatred stemming from the betrayal by his half-hybrid brother Bay. So that was the part that you were talking about where they just completely turn on him. Bulk Cruiser Merryweather is asking permission to land on the Saijo at this point, or on the planet Saijo, excuse me. Some Tophs appear near where the rebels are hiding, and they manage to like stay hidden from the Tophs
They
somehow.
look like colorful versions of the dude from like Cowboy Bebop in the circus that he fights, except
Yes.
for that dude is rad in a crazy way.
To
and
me,
these guys are like,
Elden Ring boss vibes where they're like mysteriously like 70% taller than you, but they just are people still.
in this they kind of, or like a Little Nightmare. What was that game we played where you like
Yes,
run through
Little
like the
Nightmares.
people are like exaggerated? I guess here they look grotesque and whatever and mean and scary in that way, but God, I fucking hate them. God, I hate the Tophs.
It's okay. So the Tophs appear near where the rebels are hiding. The Nagai want to take them out, but Luke stops them because it's stupid to kill them while they're still invisible. Han says Luke shouldn't deny the Nagai their fun, and Knife uses this moment to antagonize Han about Bay. But then Fen breaks them up and tells them Bay would have told them to put their feelings aside while they're on the mission. Luke says there is no mission.
Fucking Fen, there's because they want to bring people back, people that have no business.
Yeah.
You're like, give it up. You're like, Fen, you don't even matter. Get out of here.
Where were you?
You're not the
Yeah.
person to. You don't have any connection to this.
It's like Bay would have told you to put your feelings aside when there's a job ahead, and Luke's like, there is no job
I guess
ahead.
you showed up with Bay, so the implication is you guys travel together, but you don't fucking know him.
They're like, shut the fuck up. Let's
You're not
fight.
part of this.
Yeah. Han, Leia, Den, Knife, Danny, they're in Luke's group. Fen, Triff, Maggie, and the droids stay behind to keep in touch with Lando, Chewie, and Wedge. Han and Knife get into another little fight about betrayal, and Den points out Han has been far more forgiving of his other enemies than he has of the Nagai, and there's a little moment of, we're all not so different in the end. Luke says, shut up, we have a job to do. Wedge and Lando are hanging out, waiting for a signal. They get it. They have to be quick, so they're on their toes. Wedge hates waiting. Chewie hates waiting. Nien Nub hates waiting.
He
Luke
also looks
a little
like-
droopy.
like a Hiromi in this.
yeah, he looks like a little boy. He looks like a little melted boy. Luke and his team arrive.
He looks like a little like hunting, like a British person going out to like
He looks
hunt
like
in
a
his like field
tiny
jacket
melted North Korean dictator.
with his buddy
Yeah,
Chewie.
yeah.
Honestly, like them, I would love an adventure of the co-pilots.
Yeah, Nien and Chewie hanging and banging. Love story. Luke and his team arrive at the main trading center of Saijo, now the Toph headquarters. A group of Toph with captive Nagai are just on their way in. Luke sees an opportunity and follows them with Knife. In the throne room, Lady Lumia is visiting Prince Sereno. Sereno is thanking her for joining their cause. Prince Sereno is the prince of the Tophs. Lady Lumia is Lady Vader. Lumia is happy to do it because she vowed to Darth Vader that she would take down Luke Skywalker and the Alliance. And the only reason she needed the Nagai was because they were like enemies of Luke, but now they're together, so she doesn't fuck with them anymore. And an earlier group of Toph with their prisoners enter the room, and Knife is among them, and he's pretending to be tied up. Knife stabs his guard from behind, exclaims that Prince Sereno is now a prisoner of war, tells him and his subjects to surrender. Han, Luke, Danny, and Leia pop in, and that's about to go down, but then Lumia stuns Knife, and then the rebels are taking down the Toph, and one of them manages to call for backup from the Merryweather bulk cruiser, tells them to locate and destroy the main base of the hostile presence on Saijo. Lumia is about to shoot down Knife as penance for breaking her trust. Leia tries to stop her by shooting her, but Lumia deflects the shot and telekinetically disarms Leia, who is like blown away by that happening. The Toph squadron from the Merryweather is passing below Lando and his cruise ship. This sets Akbar's plan in motion. They get in formation. They destroy as many ships as they can, unless any ships in the enemy squadron signal willingness to surrender. And Lando and Chewie are loving life because finally they're going to blow some dudes away. No one is left in the throne room to protect the prince. Luke manages to get to him, tells him to give the order for surrender. Han's on his way to save Leia from Lumia, but there's a lot of Toph to get through. He can't make it in time. But just as Lumia is about to shoot Leia, one of the Tophs shoot her, which is crazy. And then Luke receives word from Lando that they destroyed half the ships. And then the Merryweather surrendered. Luke tells the prince it's time to surrender, and he does, but he asks why that one Toph who could have helped him didn't during the rebel part. And he's like, guess what? It was me, bitch. And it was Bay dressed like a Toph in makeup, which was like the craziest part of this whole story.
When he removed that, I was like, what?
He'd been with the Tophs the whole time.
They had to wrap it all up in one. It's like, 'cause then the next page it's over. Like this is a crazy issue. Everybody gets 1 second to be something. I guess you want to just finish.
That's it. It's time to bring peace to the Alliance base. There might finally be chance at peace.
They're like, finally, this is the real end of Star Wars, not the whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A fine
credit,
end to a mediocre Star Wars film.
Sure. Like, we just jumped chapters. Lady Lumia's, like, Lady Vader outfit is, like, kind of sick. Like,
kind of cool.
It's like a
kind of
horror.
weird.
Like, if we had a different thing where, like, this is the final form that, like, Luke has to, like, fight her in. There's something, like, Studio Ghibli about it, something kind of Silent Hill about it.
It looks like an artist's interpretation of Darth Vader. Like, it looks like,
And then, like, under it, it's like her robot. Like, I don't know.
you know how like McFarlane does the like samurai Vader or whatever.
Yeah.
It like looks like somebody did a Vader concept that's like not on model. Like, it looks cool.
It's really cool. It kind of like matches with like if she had gotten more.
The face mask is a little too Vadery, but it's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It just is like, okay.
And the
we just
outline,
we had to like
they wanted the
end
outline.
It.
They wanted the outline of Vader.
Yeah, this mask I guess is not super tight, but like the frame of it, I don't know. Like that she had to like sort of reinvent herself and change and grow. Given more time and a different
That's exactly
thing,
it. That's
she
exactly
could have, like,
it.
gotten
It's about appropriateness more than anything.
In the other issues, maybe because it's all wacky, I was just like, get through this. But here I'm like, well, this is all nonsense, but there are cool moments. Like, there are interesting, I don't know, like, all right, everybody gets something kind of to do. But, yeah, then Bay, you're like, what the God damn. All right, everybody.
So it just kind of wraps up. Everybody, like, kind of gets what they want. And it's like, they don't really care where the story's headed because it's not headed anywhere because the story's done. And it leaves you with a lot of the pieces of stuff that they went with the real expanded universe that we're about to hit.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like extra galactic like
This, like, walked shitting its pants to the bathroom
Yes.
so that, like, Heir of the Empire could, like, fly.
what were the Chiss fighting against?
Like,
The Yuuzhan Vong?
no, I think they were fighting against like space Vikings. It's like, I don't know, man.
But that sounds a lot like
Yeah.
sounds a lot like these guys. Just saying.
No, these are space dandy boys.
Space dandy boys. But then that's not the last issue in here. That is the last issue of 1980s Star Wars Marvel. But there's one more issue in here that we don't need to go through too quickly, too slowly, because it's kind of more like just like a.
This
It's
is
like a tour.
just
It's like a tour.
yeah, it's like another like greatest hits of the era, like a throwback. It's quite pleasant.
It's a good
in
structure.
in that like it's you already know what it is, so you're not like, wow, it's not anybody's favorite issue, but it's cool to like throw back to it. The art style of like where we're gonna go with Star Wars, the visuals, like it's hype, and
It gives the characters like the time. It just doesn't like tell the story slowly. It just kind of like
it's kind of like the last issue. The problem is like reading a bunch of these in a row, you're like, I get it, you're wrapping things up quickly. Like
this one, it's almost like if we had a time to do like another arc of Star Wars.
Tours. Like you have to do a whole thing in a couple minutes.
Yeah, and this was around the time that Baylor Vance was coming back in the real Disney universe. So they went back and brought Baylor Vance back for a sequel because I guess around issue 50 of Star Wars was when the annual was that had the Crimson virus that like.
Did he have the skull on his chest before?
Who?
Like he's just like more Punisher than ever now.
Do you know Baylor Vance was a Star Wars bounty hunter that appeared before Empire Strikes Back?
Well, this is you talking about Valance or
What am I saying?
Baylor Vance?
Baylor Valance. I'm sorry.
And there's Vance
Refrigeration.
Cobb, or like the guy from New Stuff, whatever.
Bob Vance. Vance Refrigeration. He's a bounty hunter that was before Empire Strikes Back.
Like he was part of the design, or you're saying like his intro
Predates the intro bounty hunters.
I think I remember reading that where it's like they felt like, look, we had like a cool bounty hunter, and then they made cool bounty hunters, and I'm like,
yeah, pretty crazy. Anyway, this was like Walter Simonson had an idea for this story, like that he never did, and I don't think it was him who wrote it. Who's the writer? Matthew Rosenberg.
It's fucking hilarious because they what was it? Crimson Forever was the 100th issue or like 50th, and it was like a big deal, and they all loved it. I think we were kind of like,
it's a cool concept,
conceptually interesting. The way that it played out was like whatever, but they like sort of look at it as a like critical.
It was the best. It was the
them.
best thing that had happened thus far in Star Wars. That was like not the movies. Like it was like the biggest.
It was very high content. Like
my favorite one ever was the Ord Mantell one. That's my favorite one in this entire thing. But that might have been in the newspaper strips.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, it was.
That was the best one. So Star Wars 8, 108, Forever Crimson. It's like all the other characters that we didn't see in this volume get their like closure also. So chapter 1 is called The Legend of Valance the Hunter. We learn the story of Valance the Hunter, the most feared bounty hunter in all the galaxy. He stalked his prey with brutal efficiency, let nothing stand in his way. He used to be a fierce stormtrooper, but after a rebel bomb left him injured and living life as a cyborg, he left his humanity behind. The Empire just discharged him because they're racist against cyborgs, so he became a droid-hating bounty hunter, ironic because Darth Vader is also a cyborg. He saw himself in their cold metal bodies, hated what he saw. One day he met Luke and 3PO and realized humans and droids can be friends, and he learned about compassion. And then he stood in Vader's way when he came hunting for Luke and his droid, and Vader almost met his match, but Valance fell into a lava pit, taking the secret of Luke's true identity with him. Valance basically died for Luke at Vader's hands instead of getting his own revenge.
I love that they were like, some say he was like a match for him, but whether or not he was truly an equal to the Darth Lord, no one will know because he sacrificed himself. And I'm like, he put up as cool of a realistic fight as it was. Like,
having been there,
no match at all for Vader.
No one is.
But like, he surprised Vader by just being a strong robot.
Yes. And now we find out that we're on Centauris, and that a scavenger crew that includes Doozler, the Rutian Twi'lek, he's telling this story. So they're currently at Ruby Flame Lake, the place where Valance died, but where his ghost is still wandering the shores, and their captain, Thea, lets the group know that the hold is almost at capacity and to get on board before making sure a pile of unscrubbed crap from their Magno Sweeper also goes into the hold just in case. Then we're in chapter 2, which is near misses and narrow escapes.
This is kind of cool.
They did different art for each chapter, and each is like some of the best artists in the current Star
really
Wars
sick.
line.
It's sick to jump forward and get a like, because this came out much later.
This came out in 2019.
So we are like, it is anachronistic, but it's like another tease of like, man, the design language. I'm like, this is like, I could read this era of Star Wars forever. Is that like a HK droid, like a little bit right there, like that she's got there?
There's a lot more visual reference since the old Star Wars, but yeah, like I mean, all this stuff that you're seeing here, like this is all very much the character of like the post Disney Marvel.
And we get to have teeth because like these fuckers get killed. They're like, to care, like it gets to be a little bit more
because they're going back to that universe. They don't care. Yeah, they don't care what happens in this universe. But
also the idea that like people are like they're so bloodless in kind of the era that we're in. Like, oh, Luke, I know you don't like to kill people, and that kind of thing. But here it's like it's a dirty galaxy, so it makes sense that there would be more killing.
Right, exactly. Chapter 2, Near Misses and Narrow Escapes, is Han and Chewie talking to a potential client, Slider, on Stenos. Slider shows them a tiny dried up eggplant looking thing that needs to get to his boss, or the whole galaxy's in danger. A big guy with a little guy on his shoulder appears, seems to be looking for Slider. And while the gang tries to talk their way out of it, Chewie smashes the little guy off the big guy's shoulder, starts a fight, draws the attention of the other bounty hunters. Big fight starts. The bartender kicks him out, and a chase starts. Slider tells Han and Chewie that his employer will double the payment if they help him off planet, but he gets shot like right away.
He's like melted.
He turns into like a Men in Black goo pile. They trap the pursuers, and outside, Han gets kicked in the chin by Jackson the Rabbit, who is accompanied by Amaza, if you remember both of them from like issue 10 of this comic. It appears the bounty hunters are also looking for Slider, because Jackson and Amaza are bounty hunters, much like many of the hunters currently in town. And Jackson is starting to catch on that Han might be the smuggler that their bounty was trying to hire, but Han claims the cargo went down with Slider. He then finds out Slider's employer is Domina Tag, another face from the previous comics, an ex-Imperial sympathizer who tried to end all life in the galaxy by spreading a disease called the Crimson Fever. A Hiromi appears, and Jackson shoots him down, but then the rest of the pursuers appear and the group leg it. It's like Hiromi appears, Hiromi is killed. It's great. Chapter 3, Scavenger's Mistake.
He's killed by like Jackson, which is like, you know,
hilarious.
You're putting people that are of the same
Caliber?
So yeah, you're like, no, this is good.
I'd roll with Jackson. I would love to have him back in the Star Wars universe. Back with a group of scavengers who are meeting their clients.
Like they do a good job of like making the art style cohesive. Like, yes, he is a rabbit guy, and he's in like a bright red vest, but the way they draw him, he just like sort of does fit better.
Well, they have so much more color and like, I don't know, there's a lot more nuance to drawing Star Wars now that you can make it look like Star Wars. It just works way better. I don't think anything about a big green rabbit is that crazy in
also,
Star Wars.
Like, I think literally the whatever you call that, what's the cinematography of
like arrangement
of comic?
Yeah,
like the angles are more contemporary. Like it just works better than the sort of like wide.
the art form itself has literally like evolved. Yeah.
Even the panels, the way they're ordered, the way everything everything
Readable.
about it
Yeah.
feels so much better. Yeah.
It's so much more like what I normally read too, which is crazy. So chapter 3, Scavenger's Mistake. Group of scavengers meeting their clients. Doozler is concerned because their ship is a New Republic warship, but their uniforms don't match. They deliver the stuff, some of the toughest durasteel in the Outer Rim, which survived Ruby Flame Lake. And Captain Thea asks to make sure it won't be traced back to them. The buyer's holding a gun and says, "Understood, mistress." Then we're in chapter 4, Old Worries.
Which, like, look at that pistol.
Yeah, cool
Whose
pistol.
pistol is that? You know whose pistol that is?
Huh.
Rey.
Skywalker.
No, like Rey has this pistol in Episode 9. That's
You're
like
right.
her
Yeah,
pistol.
You're right.
Or I guess Han gives it to her or whoever. Like,
Well, it's a pistol. It's a pistol of the same model that Rey has because now Force Awakens has been out for 4 years.
that's true. Hers is more silvery. His is a little bit more used. Also, is this where they talk about their like the Alliance of Free? They like are basically like, oh, that's what they used to call it before. We just now call it the New Republic. Like they're
Yeah.
like, that's now we're bridging.
They canonized it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chapter 4, Old Worries in the New Republic. On No Quivzor in the New Republic Hall, Leia is telling her Zeltrons they simply don't have the forces to help with the Toph threat. When suddenly Leia senses a shooter and saves one of her boys. She shoots down the Toph assassin who falls to the ground, and Pliff informs Leia a severely damaged Millennium Falcon is headed for a private landing pad. Is that a euphemism? And she tells her people to take assassin to a cell and deliver any military forces they can spare to help with the Mandalorians' battle with the Toph. Leia and her boys are watching the Falcon approach dangerously when suddenly it slowly floats to the ground. Luke is helping it with the Force. It didn't have any controls, but he saved it. Han introduces everyone to Jazz Jackrabbit, a.k.a. Jackson, and Amaza explains they got caught up with bounty hunters following them halfway across the galaxy, all on the hunt for this Domina Tag. Sidebar, I want to tell you guys a story really quick.
I love that this version of Luke has the like killed somebody in prison. Like
He's
tier.
tired. Yeah, he's tired, man. Hilda is Dutch. And she was when we were talking about Jackson the Rabbit when she was reading this, and she was like, we were like, Jazz Jackrabbit. Yeah, he looks like Jazz Jackrabbit. She was like, yeah, Dutch treasure, Jazz Jackrabbit. And I was like, didn't Cliffy B
Make
Jazz Jackrabbit? And she was like, what are you talking about? And we Googled it, and it's like, yes, Cliffy B did make it, but the programmer was like fully Dutch. And the guy who made Jazz Jackrabbit, who's a programmer, went on to found fucking, what's it called? The Horizon Studio.
Gorilla?
Gorilla. the
Crazy.
main Dutch
What?
studio. Yeah, so
He's
there you
like,
go.
I guess the people don't like rabbits, then we'll do gorilla
Yeah,
instead.
Gorilla always sells.
It's
Oh! Full circle. Here we are.
The best jokes are the ones you don't realize you tell. Leia is surprised since apparently Domina is hardly a threat after the fall of the House of Tag, and she was last seen in exile near Astafskaf, a place where the only recent trouble has been some labor disputes. 3PO informs her that she sent Danny and a peacekeeping force there, and when Leia asks if they reported on Domina at all, 3PO realizes they should have been back days ago.
just take a look at this. I don't. Chewie gets done so dirty in comics. Look at him.
He's
look
just
at him.
fur. He looks fine.
The eyes are so
Fucking eyes.
goofy.
I feel like
Yeah.
I feel so bad. Chewie gets fucked.
You're the guy that makes comic book artists want to jump off a bridge when they read your comments.
Hey
okay.
guys, when you were like, I'm gonna give Chewie eyes that go in different directions. What were you thinking? What was the?
What were you thinking? You draw a fucking better Wookiee than that.
I can't. But
Oh my
that's not
God.
like what? That's not like a great.
It's a quick
not being
sketch of
hired to do
Chewie.
this.
It's in a tiny panel. You're not supposed to look at it that big.
Oh, I saw it though. Like I thought it was weird from here, and then I zoomed in for effect. Sorry.
That's like when I write something beautiful and people are like, "Why are you being weird?" Okay. Chapter 5. For fear of what might wake. Too eloquent. In deep space, the commander of the crew that bought the scrap metal and then dealt with the scavengers who sold it to them are telling Hollow Domina that they succeeded in finding enough Durasteel, and she tells them to bring it to her. He asks her if they should sell some since it was worth a lot, but she says that the Toph Resistance is funding their mission so they don't need money. But then, guess what? The Terminator is in the pile of scraps and grabs the commander by the throat. It's Baylor Valance. And he's back. He's out of the lava. He's alive. Non-Hollow Domina is asking her crew what happened, but they've lost all communication with the ship like a xenomorph just took over. She says that someone should send Slider to investigate, but her crew let her know that they've not heard anything from Slider for a while either, after being hunted by the bounty hunters that were looking for Domina. Domina says she will handle herself and tells her pilot to set course for the unknown regions. And her crew expresses concerns about not being able to transport the jewels without the Durasteel or counteract the symptoms. Without the Arachne bloom, which is the eggplant thing from earlier, which I think was all part of the.
They don't ever
Crimson.
talk about that again. What was that eggplant supposed to do?
I think it protects you from the effects of the virus temporarily, or something like that, or whatever
All right.
it is. I don't know exactly, but I believe it was from that story. You know what I'm saying? Back on the other ship, the big droid's taking everybody down. None of the blasters have any effect. Another droid asks him to spare him, but the big droid has no intention of killing him. The small droid thanks him, droid to droid, but he's like, I'm not a droid. The droid asks him if he's a cyborg. He says, I think I am, but I don't know how much man's left.
I think we get away from cyborgs being weird in Star Wars, right?
No.
It's
There's not
weird,
that many.
It's weird to me because it's like, even here, it's like, well, I have a little bit of human, the rest of me is metal, and it's like, Star Wars is famous for having people in various degrees of cyborgness.
Remember Dengar, though?
It's like weird.
I think it's because we see Darth Vader as like the model cyborg.
Yeah.
But
like,
I don't think people
Luke,
know he's a cyborg.
it's not
right. I don't think people are aware.
People routinely in Star Wars have cybernetic parts. So like, why is it that he's 95% robotic, so he's now a different class, whereas other people that look like it, they're like, no, I'm fine with that.
What do white people have against black people?
Okay, I guess. Except for, but here it's like everybody accepts this. Even droids are like, what? You're a cyborg? That's even weirder.
It is weird.
Man.
Like remember Lobot? Remember like...
But like, is Lobot like a cyborg because he's got like a brain enhancer?
I think so. I don't know what it means to be a cyborg in Star Wars, but I think it has something to do with your biological functions. Is that weird?
Just means like, once again, he was like, mentats.
Racism has no
Dune.
logic.
The like
Prejudice
Ur-Tex
has
that
no
I pulled
logic.
from.
Anyway, okay, so he's like, I don't have much man left. He doesn't know how he came back from the dead, and what we find out is that the scrubber has probably restored system functionalities from the lake's toxins, because the toxins probably like made his body go into shutdown, and then when he got cleaned off, he probably was just cleared for activation again. The droid introduces himself as Fred Aitka. Fred Aitka? Ferdi Atika.
It was weird, and I was like, I bet that's a reference.
It's got to be like a tribute to somebody, but I can't figure out what it is.
But it doesn't matter.
I want to know what it is.
Do you
but
think it's all the members of the Black Eyed Peas?
It's probably like
Fergie.
It's probably
Pop
like
Gap,
some guy who's
Will
like
I Am.
It's probably like a beloved comic book artist or something like that, but I can't figure out what the name is. But it's a translation droid, and the cyborg's like, I'm Valance. And he wonders why now. And he finds out that like the Empire's gone and all this shit, and that the ship is on its way to find the great life jewels of the Red Nebula, which can restore organic life. And he's like, what jewels? What? Where? They're in the unknown regions. But if there's Durasteel on the he's like, you know, we're out to get them. It's safe to get them, et cetera, et cetera. FRD's like, let's go to the repair bay. And he's like, do they have synth flesh? And it's like gross. Chapter 6, on the way to Forever, Han, Leia, and Chewie and the rest are also on their way to find the jewels, and Han is not feeling great about it since they are very risky. Something pulls them out of hyperspace, and it turns out that the old Star Destroyer that they sent out with the jewels at the end of the story, like, was there, but they realized that everybody was dead on the ship, and it wasn't what pulled them out of hyperspace, but it was actually like the big sun that pulled them out of hyperspace. And the sun was about to go supernova and pull everything into orbit. And Domina's ship appears and threatens the Falcon under interplanetary scavenger law because they've already claimed the wreckage. And Han taunts her.
It's when I was reading this, I'm like, you're gonna murder everybody. Why are you like? Why are you trying to like pull rank?
Imagine if they were like,
legally I'm allowed to have this, and you're like,
oh my bad,
we
I
already
gotta
know
go.
what you're
Sorry.
gonna do with this
Sorry.
and how you already got here.
No, you're right. That's on us. My bad. Gotta go. But yeah, so that's what's going on. Everything's tumbling into a black hole, basically, is what's happening at the end of this. Chapter 7, snatched away from the sun, the Millennium Falcon shoots its escape pod with everybody in it onto the Star Destroyer. They're all in like xenomorph-proof suits because there's like a disease in the air when the crystals are separated. Leia warns the guys not to take their helmets off because it happens like this. And they're like, how are we going to get back when most of the ships are destroyed in the hangar and there's like one TIE fighter that seems like it can work? Han is like, hey, what's up? The Falcon's doing really bad. The Star Destroyer crew's like they're in a small ship, whatever. The rebels are trying to hold off the attacking assailants from the ship. They run off to find the jewels, which they left on the bridge. And they realize that Leia's suit's compromised and that she's starting to get sick. And Luke starts to worry about her getting her Crimson Fever symptoms. Jazz Jackrabbit shows up, gets the jewels. And when he tries to get the team to escape, Domina shows up with her crew in their like evil version of their spaceship suits. They have like Imperial coded ones.
They're just darker.
Yeah. Luke tries to hold them off while Leia, and it's like 2 steps closer to like Darth Vader's outfit. They have like
They have like the more of the ruffles.
Yeah, exactly.
The texture.
Yes. They arrive at the bridge. Oh wait.
Trandoshans in spacesuits, not that cool.
Right.
It doesn't like.
It doesn't make them look cooler. Yeah.
It doesn't like help you guys.
Yeah. They get to a bridge that got blown up. Jackson is a rabbit, so he jumps across no problem, except he acts like he's going to help Leia, but he's like, actually, it's way better if I just leave you here and head out and like get my money and leave.
This whole like little mini episode thing moves at a clip, but this was like the first time where it started to be like a little bit like they do a good job of flying through all this stuff, but here is where it's sort of like there was no time to establish that about Jackson.
Yeah.
He just does it, and you're like, okay,
Like, whatever, yeah. Luke shows up, and he, like, it's kind of like a throwback to their scene in the Death Star where they swing, but now he just has the Force, and he, like, takes R2 floating across, too. And when they get back to the hangar, Domina Tag ship's gone, but so is the TIE Fighter, the Jewels, the Rabbit. Han calls in to let them know they have company again. Now we're in Chapter 8, the end of the hunt. The missing New Republic ship crashes into the hangar. Valance comes out. He looks more like Valance. He has like flesh on. That scares the shit out of Domina, Tag, and her crew. They head out. Valance recognizes Luke. He's like, I'm so hyped that you're a Jedi. I'm so glad. I died for you. This is awesome. Vader met his match. I knew it. Luke's like, why are we meeting again today if you died for me? Valance is like, I wanted the jewels to become human. Jackson's like, well, fuck, here you go. Luke's like, they're really dangerous, but he's like holding them and he's like, I'm coming to life. I can do it. He's like turning himself into a human, but then Domina shoots him and she's like, hello, Luke. She takes one of the jewels. She goes to throw it. Leia jumps on her, but it goes off into space and separates it far enough from the other one, and the plague just like hits. Everybody gets sick. Everybody's dying. FRD is standing over Valance, telling him Domina's ion rifle shut down his battery. And so that's why he can't move very well. He asks Valance if Luke is the man that taught him compassion and that organics and droids can care about each other, when Valance is like, yes, it is. FRD's like, you know what? I'm going to overload my power core so that your battery can start so you can save everyone. And he's like, what the fuck? Droids are crazy. Domina's standing over Leia. She's about to kill her. Valance grabs her, takes the jewel, yeets her into wherever the fuck.
Like out into space?
Yeah. She says to the sun, I guess. She says the jewel is useless without the other, but Valance is like, I know. And he jumps into space to get the other one and puts them together.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nonsense a little bit, but they like did it so earnestly that by the end I was like, Valance, no!
Yeah, and he goes out there and he saves everybody. And even though he's fine in the canon universe, in the Legends universe, canonically, Bailert Valance went into the sun, clutching the two crystals, saving the galaxy, and slowly turning fully human again before he dies. That was his kind of like redemption, right? Luke and Leia are watching. Leia's like, when you saved him, what was that? And he was like, I had to help him see that humanity is more than who you are. It's like a sum of your actions. And he saved everybody, but mostly himself. And that's it for the original Marvel years. Marvel Comics, 6 volumes later, probably, I don't know, what is that, 110 issues?
108.
Well, including the 2 annuals, right? 110?
3 annuals.
3 annuals, so 111 issues, plus the Return of the Jedi, so 115 issues.
Yeah, that was a bunch of other ones.
So, man, we read a lot of Star Wars comics in 6 trades.
I feel lighter. Like, I'm like, I read it, we got through it. There's a lot of cool stuff there. I see what's coming ahead. I'm so excited.
You probably forgot about the Ewoks comics first, but...
No. I was basking momentarily in the not dreading of that. Thank you for bringing me back to
Ewoks
Earth.
comics are there?
One more trade.
But like, how many is that?
It's like there's like 9 Ewoks.
Issues?
There's like 5 issues of one and 9 issues of the other one or something like that.
That's not so bad.
No, it's not that bad.
14 issues.
Something like, it's like one more, and it's like a little smaller, yeah. And it's like way less complicated because it's Ewoks and droids. But before we do that, there's 2
Are
more.
they full issues, like 24 pages or whatever?
Yeah, full color. But they're way simpler. And before we even get there, we have 2 full seasons of the television show to watch. So
What?
Get ready for the
hell is this?
I told you what it is. It's the gauntlet that we must get through before we get to the good stuff. But we're almost there. We got season 1 of Ewoks, season 2 of Ewoks.
In between all this, we have insiders that are like, guess what? It gets good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're going to immediately start reading Heir to the Empire and playing video games. Doesn't that sound dope?
Dude, I'm seeing previews for Rebel Assault. I'm like,
yeah.
We're going to, I didn't know how good I had it as a kid in a lot of ways. Pancreas that worked, geopolitical climate that was a little different.
Yeah. Those
Star
are the 2
Wars
big
coming
ones.
out,
Yeah, those
a lot
are
of
the 2
stuff.
big ones.
And now I feel like we're going to earn, when we watch Air, it's going to be like,
we will have earned this. Yes.
Earn this.
it'll be,
Tom Hanks, we made good on
we'll
it.
have
Saving Private
fought
Ryan.
through the time stream to get back to Renoa and our friends.
Yeah,
It'll,
my
it'll
face
be
is missing right now.
You'll show up and be like,
You're just a hole.
at the dance
Yeah,
and
I'm
be
just
like,
a big hole in my face.
I just got stabbed like a big icicle. Fell off the Arc de Triomphe or something.
Damn,
I
yeah.
don't know what happened in that game. That's Final Fantasy VIII. Thank you so much for listening. Star Wars original Marvel years, comics done. We did it.
Done.
Ewoks next after that, and then Ewoks and droids after that, and then we're done. There'll also probably be another Q&A coming soon, so if you want to go sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/SWOCBC, you don't have to be a member to answer the Q&A. You can ask us.
we answer.
Well, you can ask
You're
us
the
questions.
Q's, we're the A's.
You can ask us questions without paying us money. But to participate in the discussions about the pieces, you got to sign up. And on there also is Inside the Insider, which we're going to go record right after this for the month. Every time we put out an issue of an episode of this show, we put out an episode of our show where we just read one more issue of the Star Wars Insider and see what's going on with the fandom. So we can track the universe and we can track the fandom at once. And weirdly, it's been syncing up very perfectly so far. So if you guys want to do that, we're about to like switch into a new era. Now's the good time. And
They're also like the length of regular podcast episodes too. Like it's a good chunky thing. I'm not just saying this at a hype. Like it's sick. Like learning the other side of this is so cool. Like the tech as well as
and what people were thinking is very interesting too.
yeah, I guess it's like tech and people's response.
Yeah. So Ewoks season 1, Ewoks season 2, the Droids and Ewoks collection of original Marvel years, which is not the same comic book as the other original Marvel years. Go get that epic collection if you want it to get ready. I think it's all available on Marvel Unlimited, and I believe the show is on Disney Plus, though you can probably get it somewhere else too. I think it's on YouTube as well and stuff like that. But I love you. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
The Star Wars Old Canon Book Club is made possible by contributions from our listeners at patreon.com/SWOCBC. Thank you for your support. This month's Patreon Masters of the Force are Ian Baronade, Trevor Isom, Patrick Rowland, Jazz Owl, Peacetime Mando, and Metroid Mike. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with a discussion about our next selection, Ewoks, Season 1, a television series from Paul Dini and Bob Carell. This episode was edited by Alex Del Campo and Alex Faciane. The theme song is Venus, the Bringer of Peace by Gustav Holst, performed by the U.S. Air Force Heritage of America Band. Original show art by Jackie Whistler. See you next time.